All right. Okay. Hello, everyone. This is Darcinovia here. Sorry about that. This is the first time I'm hosting a stream on StreamYard. I'm just give me a bit. Uh, all right. Okay. Well, hopefully we'll get some guests, but I'm not going to count on it. Anyway, this is a stream to end the year. So for those who don't show up at the stream, well, you'll have something to watch afterwards. I don't know what topics I'm particularly going to talk about. This is just a random stream I just came up with. I might as well do it at the end of the year. Hopefully, it's a productive stream. It's not as late as B level stream are normally, but considering there's other stuff I want to do today, so I decided to do my stream early in the day. Anyway, what is it I'm going to talk about first? Well, holy shit, has this been a insane year? I mean, seriously. With all that crap that's been happening with the Fandom Menace, the old EU guard, the Fandom Menace fucking destroying themselves. I mean, shit. What a fucking year this is. Anyway, I think the first thing I'm going to talk about probably will be. Well, I think I'll give it another minute because I want to see if there's any people that are going to show up. Maybe I should have done the stream a little later. Whatever. Okay, I was just testing. I should have done this like before the stream, but whatever. First time I'm doing a stream on my own. Well, not the first time. I've done other streams. It's just it was when YouTube had their, system, Google Hangout, which in my opinion was awful. It was really fucking bad, really fucking terrible. So yes, I think I think I'll just continue on with the stream and wait. I'm not going to wait any longer. Anyway, the thing I'm going to talk about first, I think, is well, what are my plans for 2020? At least on my channel. I think I'll start with that first. I mean, I could possibly edit this segment into a separate video, whatever. My plans for 2020, well, for those who haven't been paying attention to my community tabs, my Star Wars content, at least, is there isn't going to be as much of it in 2020. I'm still going to review the comics, which is going to be my primarily focus for Star Wars in 2020, because, well, I went through most of the expanded universe in terms of the novels, and I really don't want to get to the Crucible and Fate of the Jedi's yet, considering I don't know if I'll be motivated to continue reviewing Star Wars expanded universe material if I finish Crucible, in my reviews. I'm I am currently reading the books, but I'm just doing it on my own pace. This way I'm not pressured to get the reviews out. So that's why you have yet to see Fate of the Jedi reviews, because I'm just simply not interested in reviewing them yet. My other plans for 2020, I do want to actually get some videos out that I should have done years ago, such as my TMNT 2003 review. I have yet to get that one done, and I would like to get that done next year. I can't give any promises when it's going to come out, but I'd like to at least get it out by the first few months of 2020, because I've said I was going to do it and I haven't done it, and I don't think it's fair for those who are looking forward to those reviews. So I'm going to review the series, and whatever I watch the whole series or finish season 5, whatever, I'm going to review it. I'm going to be reviewing some other stuff as well. Even though I haven't thought about how am I going to review it yet, I'm going to review Star Trek The Next Generation within a few weeks because I've seen the whole series, finished it recently, and I like to review it. I would all in 2020, another thing I plan on doing is I like to get all of my Marvel Star Wars reviews done, though I don't know how the hell I'm going to do that because Marvel Star Wars, let's just say I don't want my channel to be only Marvel Star Wars reviews in 2020. So, yeah. That's one of the reasons why I cannot, for me, I cannot, do it considering my view after my TCW reviews, people didn't really enjoy, suffering through those, and I really don't blame them. So, yeah. That's pretty much what's going to happen. For my Star Trek novels reviews are going to continue, though I don't think they're going to be as frequent as my Star Wars reviews because I don't really have an interest in reading Star Trek comics, so I'm going to only really read the novels. Some non, tie-in, books I want to review in 2020. Hopefully, I'd like to get through most of the Wheel of Time, if not all of it, and review like all of Frank Hubert's Dune books. I've already reviewed the first one because Dune is coming out in 2020, and I like to get all those books reviewed. So yeah, I don't. Those are just my general plans. I'm pretty sure things will change, as you already know, in 2020. So just look forward to that. Now, I think I'm going to move on to the next topic of this video. Or this stream, whatever you want to call it. Well, I think this is a good time to bring up, what the state of Star Wars is planning on doing, which is another thing that goes along with my plans for 2020. State of Star Wars is going to do live streams in 2020 because, well, one of our colleagues has been recording the audio for all of the videos, and he's busy from time to time. So we can't expect him to always be there. So in order to actually alleviate him editing videos and, recording, I'm going to be doing some reviews. Now, Mandalorian is definitely on the list of reviews I plan on doing in 2020. So that's definitely on the agenda. And let's see, thy first comment. Oh, I'll answer your question in a bit. First, I gotta finish what I'm about to say. And also for State of Star Wars, I would like to get some non-State of Star Wars members, maybe from time to time as guests, to be part of these streams. So I'd like to kind of expand the State of Star Wars, but I'd have to talk to my colleagues about that because I'm only speaking for myself. I'm not speaking for the State of Star Wars staff here. So, yeah, at least for that's my plans for the next few months regarding State of Star Wars. There will be some live streams for State of Star Wars. I can't tell you which ones they're going to be besides The Mandalorian Season 1 review. Even if I have to review it myself, I'm going to get that one done. Well, yeah. Another thing, obviously you guys know, the Rise of Skywalker Teardown will come in 2020. It's just it isn't going to happen until after, you know, the movie comes out on home video and we have a general idea on how the general fandom, receives it. And now to answer my first question from a comment. Okay, Darcinovia, are you concerned a casual Star Wars? Are you considered a casual Star Wars fan if you have only watched the movies and the TV shows, but you want to read the expanded universe? That's a difficult one because if you watch the TV shows and the movies but not read the EU, I don't consider you a casual fan. I really don't, because watching both the shows and the movies, you're not a casual fan. You're a step above a casual fan because you put a lot more time into the Star Wars universe by doing this. Like if you watch the Clone Wars and Rebels and in the movies, you're not a casual fan, not by any stretch of the imagination. Anyone that says that is an idiot, in my opinion. And if you want to read the expanded universe despite only watching that stuff, then no, you're far from a casual fan. And I don't want to say there's a tier list of fans, but I'm saying that you probably are a little bit higher than a casual, a lot higher, considering it's a lot of work and time. And as for you, General, nothing's up. I'm just doing a live stream. No, it doesn't. It doesn't make you a hypocrite if you want the expanded universe continued. That's just mean that. Sorry, that just means that you want more Star Wars. That's how I look at it. So to answer your question, no, I don't think it makes you a hypocrite for wanting, the EU continued, even if you're a casual fan or never read the EU. That just means you want more Star Wars to read. I don't know why anyone would say something so absurd, because I think it's absurd to actually say that. That's just my opinion. Sorry if you're looking at a boring screen. I'm pretty new at this, so I don't know how to change it if I'm the one that's actually. Sorry, I don't know how to change it if I'm the one that's, hosting the stream. I might be able to ask B level. What am I doing on New Year's Eve? I don't know, General. Probably after I'm done with the stream, might continue watching Star Trek Deep Space Nine, which is freaking amazing right now where I'm at. I'm on like the second half of the series where things are really getting good. But then again, for non-Star Trek fans, you wouldn't understand what I'm talking about when it comes to Deep Space Nine. In my opinion, I think it's the best Star Trek series from what I've seen. But then again, that's probably a topic for another day when it comes to Star Trek. So I'll leave it at that. Anyway, General, I hope you enjoy your vacation. I really do. So far, there's no guest. Maybe I can check the private chat. No one. Okay. So, yeah, I think what's the next topic? Well, how would you guys feel if I touch on the Fandom Menace this year? Because it's been an insane year, especially if you're part of the EU. If you were a former part of the EU community, like I was. The Fandom Menace. You're probably fortunate you've never followed the Fandom Menace, dude. But if you want me to tell you how it destroyed itself, I'm doing this from my perspective. Anyway, the Fandom Menace. What a crazy year this was honestly. Jesus. My group in State of Star Wars, I was the only one who was vocal really about the Fandom Menace from time to time. It wasn't until Iron Inquisitor, one of my colleagues from State of Star Wars was attacked by Jeremy's fanboys, that we started to have a huge beef with him, like everyone in my server, because it was bullshit. And we did not appreciate that those in the EU community, I'm speaking from my perspective, didn't have a problem with this. In fact, if I'm just speaking from my point of view, I used to be part of the Alliance to Preserve the Expanded Universe group on Facebook. I left primarily because, you know, I didn't see a point in it in being part of a group that wasn't serious about getting the EU continued and not taking the threat the Phantom Menace poses seriously. And look where we are now, unfortunately. Oh God, don't get me started on that. I'm about to get to that. Anyway, the Phantom Menace, we thought foolishly that after we exposed them with their anti-EU rhetoric and mocking Marvel 108, we thought, it was over. That the EU community wouldn't support them after that. How wrong we were, because, we heard this from Matt himself in his September Q&A. I'm just skipping ahead. He basically was defending them, mocking Marvel 108 and calling it fake news. And despite what people want to say, we didn't have beefs with Matt Wilkins because he didn't conform to what we believed. No, we had problems with him because he simply slandered us and made a bunch of bullshit lies that wasn't true, and did that online harassment video, which made it so some of us couldn't even show up on YouTube for a few weeks. I had to leave every Star Wars related group and unfollow every Star Wars related page because I didn't know who was and who was not affiliated with the Phantom Menace at this point. And yeah, if for those of you who've seen The Fall of Matt Wilkins, I don't think I need to explain in further detail what happened in that debacle. And I forgot to bring up Ryan Kennel, but I don't think that's important. And not to mention the freaking the old guard of the EU movement threatened us with a lawsuit over the fall of Matt Wilkins and the EU movement deception, which is fucking hilarious. My colleagues in State of Star Wars can confirm this themselves. Oh, yeah. Anyway, as now to answer the other question, why did the Phantom Menace destroy itself? Well, I'm going to have to go back even further in time. The Phantom Menace, and this may get a little political. I'm just warning you people because this is why I left to begin with. The Phantom Menace, at the very beginning, it was the anti-Last Jedi movement. And I think all those who hated The Last Jedi who are watching this stream could relate to what I'm about to talk about here. The reason why The Phantom Menace was so popular in early 2018 and up till early 2019, because for the first time, people had a united voice against Disney. For the first time, more and more people were speaking out against Disney. Even non-Phantom Menace people were speaking out against Disney. And for those who supported the Menace at first, like myself, I supported the Menace before they were called the Menace, by the way. So I'm just throwing it out there. I supported them because I hated what Disney did to Star Wars. And I thought that their goals were compatible with mine. I was wrong. And anyway, to get back why I feel like they failed this year, last year they've talked about they're going to boycott Disney Star Wars, Rise of Skywalker, blah, 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 blah. But look what these idiots have done. They supported Disney by getting Disney Plus, watching Rise of Skywalker on opening day, and even their own supporters called them out for their with their hypocrisy. The problem with the Phantom Menace is, what is their goal other than removing Rian Johnson and Kathleen Kennedy? Their only goal is getting people fired, not really demanding actual change. Because this is why I left. Because in my eyes, it makes no difference if Kathleen Kennedy is in charge or Rian Johnson is making his own trilogy. If nothing else is done to fix the problem with modern Star Wars, then it's the same as if Kathleen Kennedy is in charge. But none of their goals really made any sense when you really think about it, because they didn't really have much. And these people were nothing more than normies. And not to mention, none of them really gave a shit about Star Wars. And yeah, that's. And now you're seeing them destroy each other, like, and fucking swatting each other. There's a fucking civil war in the Phantom Menace. They're not as united as they would like to make you believe. And their own supporters are starting to turn against them because of what happened with Rise of Skywalker. And to be honest, here, I think anyone that still supported the Phantom Menace after what happened, with that charity worker with Marietta, don't deserve my sympathy if they have a problem with the Menace now. They really don't. Because if you're willing to stay with a group of people that harassed a charity worker to the point where she was hospitalized, I'm sorry. Fuck off. I have no sympathy for you. You were completely okay with people like Jeremy instigating people to harass this woman. Or here's another thing. Reason I'd have no sympathy. Supporting Anna, that Star Wars girl, not even doing anything to defend her own sister for being harassed by her own fan base. It's like, spare me the bullshit. This is why, like, anyone that still supports the Menace after, all these things don't deserve your sympathy, and they only deserve your scorn. Because these people supported these people even after all these awful things that they've done and supported. And another thing, I think anyone like the old EU guard that still claims that they're not Phantom Menace are fucking liars. I mean, Christopher Nelson on Twitter constantly retweets Phantom Menacers, constantly, talks pro Phantom Menace points. You can't get any more Phantom Menace than that. I mean, Twitter is the Phantom Menace's true stronghold. I mean, if you want to see, some of the stupid shit they say or disgusting, go to Twitter. These people can't go a single moment without tweeting something or retweeting something. The Phantom Menace is not interested in going after, legitimate, people that make things worse in fandom. In fact, I look at the Phantom Menace as almost the same thing as the extremists on the pro Disney side. They're almost the same thing to me. They're both a menace to fandom. Logan Lerocruz is someone that I've hated for years, and someone that I've dealt with for years. He's not as intelligent as someone like Jeremy, which is not really saying a lot. But this person does the exact same thing the Phantom Menace does: harass people for not liking the same thing he likes, makes fun of them for not liking the thing that he likes, berates people for not liking what he likes. I mean, I think that the issue, this year, we've had, I'm talking for myself, and this is a criticism for myself and the state of Star Wars and the Council of Exile. We were so fixated on the Phantom Menace that we've completely lost focus on the other side as well that have caused this problem. The reason why the Fandom Menace existed in the first place, why it came into existence, is because of these kind of people that harassed people. Sorry, I'll answer your question later. Harass these kind of people. And people like myself felt completely alienated from the rest of the Star Wars fandom. And for those who didn't decide to leave Star Wars forever and didn't want to let it go, like myself, we went to the Menace, or what was known as the Anti-Last Jedi movement back in the day, because we felt that we finally have people that are speaking up for us. People that are speaking up for the average Star Wars fan that isn't blindly following everything Disney does. And even though this is misguided, and I think in my opinion, this was easy for Jeremy to take advantage of people like this, people who felt defranchised from the very thing that they love. And Jeremy was an opportunist. Let's be real. Jeremy of Geeks and Gamers, he isn't a stupid man. He's stupid, yes, when you watch some of his videos, but he understands people from how to manipulate them. That's why he does the kind of videos that he does. No, Normal Legends guy has an intense hatred for the Fandom Menace, but he's almost the same side of the same coin as the Fandom Menace. He's a menace to fandom. No one likes him. Logan Lyricruz, if you ever see him, block him on sight because he does nothing but troll people. Prequel and EU fans. He's someone that you don't want, anywhere near you. And as a result of these people constantly berating Star Wars fans for not liking what Disney's been doing with Star Wars, that's why the Fandom Menace was able to gain so much support so quickly. Not everyone that freaking hates Disney Star Wars or hated what Disney Star Wars became were a bunch of freaking crazy Nazi sympathizers. There's people that, like myself, are on all walks of life that simply just wanted a good film, or just want Star Wars to be good again and enjoyable again, and not just be berated for not enjoying something that only a small fraction of the fandom enjoys. But that's also a problem with Jeremy as well, because now he's created the very monster that are now going to turn on him, because he completely sold out in these people's eyes. There's people that could see right through his bullshit, but they saw right through him too late. And Jeremy doesn't actually really care about the movement if Disney Star Wars, improves or not. Well, the only thing he cares about is making money, because he can manipulate these people's emotions and tell them what they want to hear. He's like Donald Trump in a way. Donald Trump does the exact same thing, to people that support him. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if that's where he is inspired to do his business from, is do it in the style of Trump. Because Trump is able to manipulate people's emotions. Hey, Beta Crate, Avalon, if you want, you guys can be part of the stream. I mean, I left a link in our Discord server. I'm just letting you know, if you want to be part of this stream, I left a link to it. Anyway, the Fandom Menace, to me, the ideas in the very beginning weren't bad ones. They seemed to be reasonable at the time, but the more that time passes, the more extreme the movement got. And I felt like the more rational people slowly walked away from the movement, which is why the Phantom Menace are the stereotypical Trump supporting white supremacist neo Nazis, because most of those people are the kind of people that support, Jeremy at this point. What does a Trump supporter look like? I don't know. I want to get this away from politics from now, but I don't know. A Trump supporter can look like you or me. There, I'm not going to be this stereotype. They can look like you or me. So yeah, I'm not going to say Trump supporters are all a bunch of white trash, because that's nonsense. Anyway, I'm gonna get to I think I've said what I wanted to say about the Phantom Menace. The reason why I feel like their movement has collapsed and lost support is because the people that were in charge of it, Jeremy, Evan V. Sciver, Anna, that Star Wars girl, Jesse Milestone, they don't really care about the movement. The only one that really, not even world class bullshitters cares. I mean, none of these people really cared. If they truly cared, they wouldn't be fucking seeing the movie day one or watching Mandalorian on Disney Plus. They'd be pirating this shit. Oh, hey. Oh, yeah. See, hold on. I'm going to add Beta Crate. Okay. Hold on. I got to see. Sorry, guys. I'm not very experienced at this. Let's see. Hey, Beta Crate, what's up?
Hello?
I can hear you just fine. I can hear you just fine, Beta Crate.
Wait,
Are all Trump supporters bad? To answer your question, to be honest with you, I question Trump supporters' morality if they still support the man after the stuff that he's been doing. It's like asking if all Adolf Hitler supporters are bad. I mean, those who supported Trump at the beginning at the election, you can't say that they were all bad people, but those who still support Trump after what he's been doing, like putting children in cages, yeah, I think they're terrible human beings. I really do. I have no sympathy for these people. Honestly, if Trump screws them over, it's the same reason how I look at people in Britain who voted, conservative. They deserve what's coming to them. I know that sounds harsh, but these people have never studied history and how fascism, rises. There's a video I recommend anyone to watch who wants to know more about the subject. Watch the rise of trumpet. Yeah, I cannot pronounce it completely, but it's the newest video on the channel. Just type right wing watch and just watch their newest video. They can explains it better than I ever could. Anyway, I like to return the subject. Anyway, Beta Cray, you still on the stream, dude? I think his equipment's yeah. Hold on, I gotta look at some questions. A Star Wars fan can become hardcore over time, though it takes forever. Oh yeah, Barack Obama, he's a piece of shit too. I'm so sick of Obama supporters and people who've loved Barack Obama fucking, oh my God, Obama was such a great president. He was so much better than Trump. He was so classy. Oh yeah, the drone strike fucking king who fucking started 7 wars and killed millions of people and fucking destroyed the most prosperous country in Africa. Fuck Donald Trump. Not, Obama. Oh yeah, Barack Obama. You hear Avalon. I can hear you just fine. Oh shit. Sorry, I'm new to hosting streams. That Star Wars guy, to answer your question, I can't. I don't have a comment on Fallen Order, though I like it so far. Since we have this many people here, man, I kind of feel bad that I haven't done my prequel reviews. I'm sorry, I just can't. Hey, Mass Panther, what's up, dude? I haven't seen you in a while in my comment section. Don't worry, General. I'm trying to minimalize the topic as much as possible, but I have to answer some questions. Anyway, okay. Does it Beta Cray or Avalon? What do you want to add to this stream? What do you guys want to talk about?
Well, I suppose like I could bring up the fact that I've been stuck with Heir to the Empire for quite some time because of my computer work. It's like I've been reading some EU books, and so then Heir to the Empire, I can't go even further. Darn it!
Wait, you have it on Kindle?
Oh no! I have the actual what is it? Paperback.
Oh, then why can't you go further?
Thing is, I've been very busy with my computer stuff for my computer boot camp. Progress is stymied. I'm stuck in the 100s range of pages right now.
I'm stuck in the 100 pages of, Fate of the Jedi Apocalypse.
Cool. Don't tell me what happens in that book. It's like I read the Fate of the Jedi series like some years back, but I only made it as far as the end of.
Wow, I think Fate of the Jedi. Oh, I don't know. It's very. I think it's becoming my second favorite post Return of the Jedi story. And the reason I say that is because I feel like my favorite aspect of Star Wars is the mystical side, and I like exploring that. And Fate of the Jedi explores that in great detail. Not to mention, I think the politics is interesting in Fate of the Jedi, and I feel like Fate of the Jedi gave Dalla a second chance to be a great villain.
Yeah, there's something about how like there's the battle between her and the Jedi with the media, like Horn and Valenhorn being stuck in carbonite.
Yeah, it's just also that would have been a great, I think the best story template for the sequel trilogy, if they wanted to use some EU, would have been Legacy of the Force and Fate of the Jedi.
Great.
If you want to know how I would have done the sequel trilogy if I were to rewrite it?
How would you have done it?
Well, okay. Some characters I would have kept. Rey would have been kept. If in my version of the sequel trilogy, Poe would have been replaced by another character. I would have replaced Poe with Ben Skywalker. Kylo Ren would have been replaced with Darth Caedus. Jaina Solo would probably would not be a main character. She'd be one of those side characters in the movie. In my version of Force Awakens, Finn I would have kept as well.
Side character?
No, Finn.
Okay.
Because I would keep some of the stuff in the Force Awakens
Okay.
the same, minus the First Order and all that other nonsense. I don't know what I would probably discuss it in further detail with my colleagues at State of Star Wars.
Gotcha.
I don't know. As for the sequel
Well, actually, the
trilogy,
thing is, it's our.
to be honest with you,
Oh. Sorry. Continue. Sorry. Continue.
I know that it's to be honest with you, I just don't really have any anger left for the sequel trilogy. I mean, Force Awakens and was I will always hate that movie. Last Jedi, same. Rise of Skywalker, I just don't have that strong feelings for it. I can honestly. I I don't know. It's just hard. It's hard to say. It's just to me. I honestly am glad these movies are out because the original trilogy purists, got what they deserved with this trilogy, considering they wanted, another original trilogy and they got it and they still hate it anyway. Like, I hate everything,
Delicious
which I find ironic.
irony. Delicious irony, Dark.
I hate everything, hates the sequels, which is when he was defending them nonstop 2 years ago.
Wait, really?
Yes.
Oh my god. Oh,
I'm not joking. He was defending The Last Jedi and Force Awakens nonstop and trashing the prequels. But look at those
Also, we have to
fools
keep in
now.
mind that I hate everything once said. Indeed. Also, I hate everything. He once said that he hates everything. He hates life itself.
I think that was an exaggerated joke.
remember when he made his "I love the Force Awakens" video?
That was cringe.
Oh dear.
I used to be a sub to him, by the way, until that video. I said no, 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 no. I have no. You could
Yeah.
Oh my
you
lord.
could like the Force Awakens, but don't do a video. Love the Force Awakens. Don't just no. As for Rise of Skywalker, between Star Trek Into Darkness and Rise of Skywalker, that's a difficult one to determine which one is worse. I hated both. I hated Star Trek Into Darkness with a passion, honestly, because it was mindless action and it broke all kinds of canon in the Star Trek universe. I mean, seriously. Oh God, I hate that
I
movie.
haven't watched any of J.J. Abrams' Star Trek movies.
They're abominations, honestly. And not to mention, he was trying to do his own shitty version of Wrath of Khan, which no one tries to do a remake of Wrath of Khan. Wrath of Khan is like the best Star Trek movie ever. Oh God. Yeah, the Star Trek fandom is better than Star Wars. I will agree with that, Star Wars guy, because you can have a conversation about various Star Trek series without getting into heated debates. I mean, there's Star Trek fans that only like the original series, but they're not going to go out. They're not going to say you're not a real fan if you prefer like TNG, which is Next Generation for short, or Deep Space Nine. Of course, if you want to know my opinion, I think Deep Space Nine is the best Star Trek series. What I've seen of it so far. Because Deep Space Nine tackles more complex issues. And Deep Space Nine has actually made me cry on multiple occasions, something that none of the Star Trek series I've seen has done. But I can't really say without spoiling Deep Space Nine. It's such an underrated masterpiece. Actually, what is the worst thing that's been released this year? It's very difficult. I'm not gonna lie. I think Game of Thrones season 8 has made me more angry than anything I've watched this year.
What about the Cats movie?
We don't speak of that movie. I haven't seen it, and I don't want to even think about it.
Oh,
It's a shame because Ian McKellen movie.
As to answer Christopher Becker's, comment on Discovery, I have no intention of watching Discovery until I have no Star Trek left to watch. It's probably going to be my second to last series I will watch after Enterprise. I'm just not that interested in prequels in Star Trek. Because I think that it's been done to death, Star Trek prequels. I think we should move forward in the Star Trek timeline, not backwards. Hopefully, the Picard series that's coming out soon will be the start of them going forward. I agree. Game of Thrones season 8 is worse than Rise of Skywalker. Rise of Skywalker, you could have a good time despite how bad it is. It's a guilty pleasure. As for a new Mass Effect game, I don't know. I don't trust EA. I don't trust EA. I'm biting my I can't believe I'm saying
Good reason.
I can't believe I'm saying this. I think The Last Jedi is better than Rise of Skywalker. I'm sorry. Even though I hate it more, I hate it with a passion. I gotta give the Last Jedi some credit for at least Rian Johnson, had the balls to do something new and not like. At least The Last Jedi is not Michael Bay tier trash when it comes to entertainment. I'm sorry to say this. I'm ashamed. I have to be objective here. Rise of Skywalker just is not a good film. You can enjoy it all you want. I enjoy some bad movies. I mean, Ninja Turtles 3 is a horrible movie. One of the worst movies ever made. So is Troll 2, but I still enjoy those movies. Have you guys ever heard the terms a movie is so bad it's good? That's, I believe, where Rise of Skywalker pretty much lies. What do you think, Beta Crate?
yeah. The Room.
Oh God, The Room.
That's like that movie's like considered the ultimate. It's so bad it's good movie. Like that's the standard.
Have you seen Troll 2?
No, not yet. I don't want
to. Let's just say that there's a documentary that on that movie. No joke. There's a documentary on Troll 2.
Also, there is this one movie that's very bad, but it's not considered a good movie, like because it's so bad it's good. No, it's just plain bad. It's considered one of the worst movies of all time. And the thing is, that's The Exorcist 2: The Heretic, made in 1977. It's the sequel to the original Exorcist movie. I've never seen this movie myself, but I've just seen a description of it on the internet.
It sounds bad from the sounds of it.
Wait,
definitely.
Exorcist had a sequel?
Yes, here's the thing. It's like there were 5 Exorcist movies. The first Exorcist, the second one, which is Exorcist 2: The Heretic, the third one is Exorcist 3, and there were 2 prequels. Of course, there were just 2 different versions of the same events. One was like Exorcist: The Beginning, and also like it's a Dominion prequel to The Exorcist. And of course, this one person did a ranking on IMDb, with the greatest of those movies being The Exorcist, the second greatest being The Exorcist 3, third best being Exorcist: The Beginning, fourth one being Dominion, and fifth one being Exorcist 2: The Heretic.
I see.
But here's the thing. The thing is that it's like Dark Sonovia, if you thought that The Last Jedi could scar your eyes forever and suck your soul out, you're wrong. There's one that's even worse than that, and that's The Exorcist. This movie, I've heard it'll scare the living daylights out of you.
I've heard the real, I've heard the real woman, in the movie is based on. You the real Exorcist. The real person. I forgot what the girl's name was.
Well, here's the thing. In the movie, her name is Reagan McNeil, but the truth of the matter is that the original story actually happened to a boy, not a girl. And the thing is, how The Exorcist was taken from this one guy, William Peter Blatty. He wrote the book The Exorcist, but he wrote this book based on a real account that happened in Missouri, I think it was.
Isn't there isn't there something that happened like The Exorcist in real life? Because I've heard something.
Oh yeah, here's sorry, as quick thing. So yeah, The Exorcist. Well, the events of The Exorcist did happen in real life, and there's also another movie called The Rite with Anthony Hopkins in it. That one is also based upon real events, but I believe The Rite is more faithful to the actual events that happened. Of course, yeah. And also there's a thing about how in The Rite there was this thing about how the church revealed an initiative to have an exorcist installed in each diocese across the world because of the increasing amount of demonic possessions that were occurring worldwide.
Okay, someone wants me to pronounce my name. You mean my YouTube name or my real name? Just because I don't know what you're talking about. Just tell me which one. Anyway, I'll answer your question as soon as you answer mine, because I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, well, I've heard something that was like The Exorcist with someone being possessed, and I'm not really a believer in this sort of thing, but when I heard it, it scared the shit out of me.
Dark Snovia, it's all real.
I don't know. My non-belief was questioned because it sounded like some demon was possessing this woman. Even my aunt I scared the shit out of my aunt giving her a link to this freaking video on Facebook.
I heard the actors felt like they summoned something during the production
of The Exorcist.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a thing because I've heard I read this one book, and in it had a description of what was happening behind the events of the Exorcist movie. The thing is, bad things were happening. This one girl broke her spine, and they actually had a priest come on set in order to bless the set so that nothing more bad things will happen. And so therefore, you see, one could say that the devil did not want this movie made because it was educational for people to defend themselves.
I see. Ugh. I think we should move this topic away from, because this person asked a question.
Okay.
The Dark Knight is ranked number 4 on IMDb's top 250 best movies. Do you think it deserves to be ranked that high? As much as I love The Dark Knight, I don't think it comes close to being number 4. Honestly. It's a good movie. I consider The Dark Knight one of the greatest movies of all time. But not at number 4. Come on.
So you would say number 14 or 24, maybe?
I would probably more likely put it at 30 or 40. It's not one of the best movies of all time for being objective.
Yeah. So are you going I'm on a list of 100?
I'm going by based on not my opinion, but being objective. It's nowhere near the top, 20.
Okay, so therefore it's so you're not going to limit it to a certain number. Okay.
I thought you said the Nolan or the Dark Knight was overrated.
I do consider it overrated. In fact, I think the Joker is a better movie than the Dark Knight ever would be. In my opinion.
Yeah, it's if you ask me, it's the Dark Knight. It's a good movie, but it's too dark. It's I suppose I would go with Batman Returns instead.
Batman Returns, I think it's a good. I don't mind it as a movie, but maybe it's a problem with the Tim Burton movies. I think the problem with Tim Burton's Batman films, as much as I enjoy them, they're not really focused on Batman. Batman's not really much of a character in those movies. It's mostly focused on the villains.
But the thing is, you made 2 YouTube videos calling Batman 89 a masterpiece, and Batman Returns an underrated masterpiece.
I do consider them masterpiece. I still stand by what I say.
Okay, cool.
It's just, if I have to be objective here as someone, I think The Dark Knight is a better movie from an objective standpoint. This is my this is I'm separating my personal opinion with some objective facts. I think that the Christopher Nolan Batman trilogy is more faithful to the Batman comics than the Tim Burton movies are.
But there was also a thing about like what you once said about how Christian Bale peaked in the first Batman movie.
I agree. I honestly don't really see much of an arc after that.
Yeah. Also, it's like very quick question. It's like I'll make this very quick. Where are you going to get to your reviews about Terminator Salvation and Terminator Genesis?
I forgot. I'm gonna get them done eventually. I'm probably gonna have to do another review on Terminator Dark Fate because it was based off my first thoughts on the movie.
Yeah, it's like also it's like I heard what you said multiple times. It's like you see, I watched your video on Dark Fate multiple times, and the thing is, my condolences, Dark Synovia. It's like you loved that franchise very much, and it was messed up by hacks.
I do agree with this one commenter. Burton knows nothing about Batman. And don't get me wrong, I love Batman 89 and Batman Returns. But as a Batman fan and as someone as a fan of film, Burton's Batman films weren't really that faithful to Batman. I mean, Batman 89 is probably the best version of Batman if you're looking for an adaptation of the Golden Age era of Batman. But if we're going by the modern age, it doesn't represent the modern age very well.
I see. Also, quick thing. That Star Wars guy says that Avalon 1000, like Battlestar Galactica and Stargate. Unfortunately, I haven't seen either of those two franchises ever.
And I know this is not going to be popular. Dark Knight is overrated, but I also think Batman 89 is overrated as well. I know it's not going to be a popular opinion of mine, but I do think it's overrated. I still enjoy the film. Don't get me wrong, but there's been a lot of better comic book movies that have come out since Batman 89. Plankett's freaking Phantom Menace review is rated higher than any of the Star Wars movies. Oh my fucking god!
What?
What in the world? Also, AK Master, let's be clear about something. Smear. Mr. Plankett's Phantom Menace smear, not review, because these smears are bogus.
Well, okay, we got to be fair here. There are some criticisms you can throw at the prequels. We got to be objective. There are some things that could have been done better with the prequels. But we made this clear, though, earlier in the year with our Defending the Prequels podcast.
Of course.
There are some things they could have done better. I think someone else should have, maybe wrote the script for the prequels, maybe to smooth out the dialogue. And yeah, that's one big criticism. But here's the thing. The dialogue, in my opinion, is not a legitimate thing to criticize the prequels for, because the original trilogy has the same style of dialogue the prequels do.
Yes, indeed.
It's so stupid.
I kind of feel that's just the way how people talk in Star Wars. So I just
sorry.
Yeah,
continue.
I just don't mind it because it just feels like that's how the way they speak.
Oh, I know AK Master, I know you're not a Plankett supporter. We're just giving our commentary on the ridiculousness that his review is rated higher than any of the Star Wars films. Now, to answer a question, Darth Synovia. Well, I actually didn't always pronounce, my name Darth Synovia. I actually pronounced it at first as Dark Synovia. But because so many people pronounce it as Darth Synovia, I pronounced it the same way as everyone else. So it's Darth Synovia. Oh, RMG. Oh, that guy. I don't want to remember that guy, to be honest. The less I talk about him, the better.
Also, quick thing. It's like Mike Clemo, that one Star Wars scholar, he accumulated the scores for the 6 Star Wars movies, with the initial reviews, and he came up with what the scores would have been for for Rotten Tomatoes, and it would have been as follows: Phantom Menace 60%, Attack of the Clones 67%, Revenge of the Sith 8%, A New Hope 74%, Empire Strikes Back 63%, and Return of the Jedi 61%. So it pretty much evens out.
As for that Star Wars guy, yeah, here's the thing about people don't seem to understand about George Lucas. He didn't want to direct the prequels on his own. But let's just say he didn't have the best relationship with Hollywood. I mean, George Lucas isn't as much of a control freak as people like to portray him as. People just told him that he's capable of doing the whole thing himself. People constantly told George Lucas what he wanted to hear. So when you're unfortunately, when you're surrounded by so many yes men, I believe you're not going to be at your best. You're not going to have people basically criticize you for doing stuff that you shouldn't. And I think that is a valid criticism of George Lucas. He was surrounded by too many yes men and not enough people saying, George Lucas, we should do this in a different way. This doesn't work. This doesn't make any sense. That's legitimate to criticize George for. And I think Ron Howard doing a Star Wars movie would have been great if he did it in the prequels. Speaking of which, I know I'm probably the minority here. I actually think Solo is the most competent Star Wars movie that Disney has put out so far, because Ron Howard is the best director they got to direct a Star Wars movie in the modern era.
Solo's actually my favorite Disney Star Wars movie that's come out.
I am indifferent towards Solo.
I'm not saying that I like it, but it's my favorite out of the.
I think what would have made a huge difference is if they had someone other than Ehrenreich as Han Solo.
Anthony and Gruber, that guy is like Han Solo Jr. Well, Harrison Ford Jr. Actually, yeah.
Well, back to George Lucas. I mean, I do feel that it's ironic these people wanted George Lucas to come back at the end. You know, when the Rise of Skywalker was being, made, it's like, you guys got what you wanted, the prequel haters. George Lucas is out of Star Wars, yet you objectively got worse films than anything George Lucas has ever done with the prequels.
Delicious irony.
I kind of feel bad. I kind of feel bad for John Williams.
Yeah.
Because John Williams' music is amazing. And if you watch his other movies with his scores, like Superman 78, Jaws, the first two Harry Potters, Jurassic Park, those had awesome scores. And Indiana Jones. But if you look at the Star Wars sequels, the music is so forgettable that it feels like background noise.
Well, karma had to be paid.
As to answer your question, if adapting expanded universe is stupid, no, I don't think it's stupid. The expanded universe, whether these haters want to admit it or not, is source material. It should be used. There's no reason at all not to, use the source material. I mean, sure that things would have to change, but it's so ridiculous for these people being so against, taking stuff from the EU and adapting it in canon. I'm talking about those like Hello Greedo. The material's already been created. Just use it. I know this goes against what I said years ago, but I'm beyond the point of caring. And I don't know about you guys, I'm so sick of people pushing for Keanu Reeves to be Revan. I really am sick of it. And I'm so sick of people saying a Knights of the Old Republic movie is confirmed to be made. I mean, I'm so sick of these rumors about a Knights of the Old Republic movie being made, being pushed as facts when we don't even know what kind of movie they're making in the next few years. It could be a movie set in the Legacy era. It could be a movie set long before, Knights of the Old Republic. We don't even know. Anything could happen. I don't think we should say that Knights of the Old Republic is being made into a movie is absolute until we see a freaking teaser trailer.
Indeed.
As for Revan being a woman, I look at Revan as it doesn't matter what Revan's gender is because in the games themselves, it didn't matter who Revan's gender was. Revan's gender was always ambiguous in the games. Oh God, I know what would piss people off. Have Berea Larson play Revan. No, I'm not joking when I say this. Berea Larson should play Revan.
What about
Please
Ahsoka?
What?
What about Ahsoka? Shouldn't
No,
she play Ahsoka?
No, do Revan.
Oh, okay.
Think about it, because they're pushing Keanu Reeves. Imagine if they have a hate boner for Brie Larson.
Yeah. Oh, and if Keanu Reeves says anything left, they're probably gonna betray him as well.
Oh yeah, I also got another one. Have Zendaya play Mara Jade.
Yes, and Dia Coleman.
No, Zendaya as Mara Jade.
No. I was just saying her name. I was saying her last name. Yes,
Oh.
and Zendaya Coleman.
Yeah, have her play Mara Jade. Okay, no, because it would troll all the anti-SJWs. It's like, oh my God, Disney's going woke. I don't know, to be honest, about Rey being the daughter of Cade Skywalker in the post-Legacy comics. I mean, I can't really. I have to think about that with some more. Danny DeVito as Revan. Danny DeVito as Revan. Yeah. I'm not going to lie. Some of my older videos, I'm embarrassed by them. Like my rant on Spider-Man Homecoming, my thing about the Star Wars fandom being toxic. It was such cringe. I can't believe I made such garbage. Maybe I should...
Wait. How? Why do you think it's cringe?
Because it's cringe. I say good things about Matt Wilkins, and I can't even. I cringe. I can't even watch that video anymore
because of the betrayal.
I come up as a whiny little bitch in that video. It's just I can't stand watching it now. I don't understand how anyone liked it back in the day. I was acting like a whiny little bitch. I'm sorry. That's how it was. I cringe so hard watching that video. And I don't watch my videos very often, but it hasn't really held up very well. A lot of stuff I say, like the first half of the video is like just me complaining about EU haters, and the second half of the video is me promoting the fucking billboard and bragging about our billboards. Like, God, I can't believe I said this garbage. I know I'm critical towards my older videos, but I have every right to be critical. It was just, cringe. Oh, God. Jesus. Let me look at other comments. Let's see. Isn't it funny how ignorant Jeremy is of the EU when he talked about Palpatine was always supposed to be dead? It's like, oops. I think you forgot a little comic called Dark Empire.
Great trilogy.
I don't. I have yeah. My opinions about it is pretty known. I like the first one and dislike the rest, but that's just me. But if you haven't seen Rise of Skywalker, I'm about to spoil something here. I'm referring to to those who are watching it. So be warned. I thought Palpatine's death in Rise of Skywalker was so anticlimactic that I wasn't even. It didn't even like. There wasn't no definitive conclusion if Palpatine is actually truly dead. Like there was in Empire's End. I feel like Empire's End did a better job with Palpatine's demise than Rise of Skywalker.
Definitely, because Palpatine knew that obliteration in the dark side would be to live like with an open wound, terror without respite. It's like, and he deserves it too.
I actually think Palpatine dying in a pitiful way, when I think about it in hindsight, is very fitting for the character, considering Palpatine grew up privileged and he had everything handed to him all of his life, and to have everything fall apart suddenly, I think it's a great way for him to go. This master planner, this person that basically controlled everything like a puppet master, can't even save himself from the inevitable.
Ironic.
Indeed, Bea Crepe.
Now, if that to be honest, I don't think Darth Bane would have much respect for Darth Sidious.
Well, there is the thing about how Darth Bane, he was, as you said, an underdog, and also he worked for years as a miner on Patros, whereas Palpatine just had everything handed to him, and so therefore Darth Bane truly earned what he got, whereas Palpatine not so much.
Well, no, I think Darth Bane would have no respect for Actually, I think Darth Bane would have no respect for the later Sith, like Darth Plagueis and Tenebris and Sidious, considering they were destroying the very thing that he, created in the first place that helped preserve the Sith.
I get what you're saying about like Sidious and Plagueis, but Tenebris was planning to stay true to the rule of two. That's what the impression I got from reading the Darth Plagueis book.
Well, I'm just going by what I think. I don't, because Darth Bane looked down on Darth Krayt because he saw Krayt as another Khan.
Yes, like in the words of Darth Bane, some holocron back from the Star Wars Legacy comics, to share power is to dilute it. And also the thing is, he says it to Darth Krayt, the Pretender returns.
Which, if you really think about it, the Sith truly did die with Darth Sidious. Because I don't consider Darth Krayt a real Sith.
Indeed. Hey, but hold on. What about like Darth Caedus? He adhered to the rule of two.
We don't know what Darth Caedus's Sith order would have looked like. He never had an apprentice.
Well, actually, he did. Like his apprentice was Tahiri Vela.
Yes, but she didn't. She never took on the Darth title.
Oh, I see. Yeah. So therefore, Darth Sidious truly was the last Sith, huh?
Well, of Bane's rule of two, he was the last Sith. Because we don't know how much Lumiya actually knew about the Sith. So we don't know if Jacen Solo was really a Sith in the traditional sense.
Yeah, well, the thing is how it's like, let me see here. But there's the thing about how Lumiya, she was training on the Sith world of Zyos when Palpatine and Vader died in the Battle of Endor.
Yes. Dark Helmet is a better Sith than Snoke.
Yes, indeed, AK Master.
Oh God, Snoke. Snoke is such a meme.
Well, also, SC Reviews once said about Snoke, a quick thing. Well, SC Reviews once said about Snoke, there was this bloke named Snoke who went out like a joke. Also, as you were saying, Bea Crepe?
Have you, Dr. Snowy, have you finished The Mandalorian?
Nope, I haven't.
Okay,
I
I
need.
won't.
Well, okay. I need. Well, I do want to do a review on Mandalorian in a few weeks, but I need at least one other person to finish the first season.
Okay.
Someone's sending. Let's see. Sorry, I'm not used to doing hosting in these streams, so forgive me, guys.
No, it's okay.
It's okay.
This is much better than Google Hangout. Google Hangout sucked. It's one of those features I'm glad YouTube removed because it was garbage. I'm sorry, V-Level. I don't think there's any interesting things you could draw from Ewoks Unhinged. To be honest with you, they should just. I know I'm mostly these are only PC players. I'm saying this to, but if they want Starkiller and Old Republic stuff and Battlefront, what do you think mods are for? As to answer your question, AK Master, no, I don't think Mandalorian would fit in the EU if the EU was still canon. No matter how much I'd like to keep some high quality content from Disney Star Wars, have it be with the EU. It cannot coexist in the EU. It has to be separate. Unfortunately.
Also, there's that Star Wars guy, Avalon 1000. What do you think about people wanting Starkiller and the Old Republic in the new Battlefront games? Well, people's hearts are in the right place. It's like Starkiller and the Old Republic being in the new Battlefront games. It would be good, but I'm not concerned about these new Battlefront games. There's only 2 Battlefront games to me, the original 2, not these 2 new ones by EA. Ugh.
Well, speaking of Fallout 76, I forgot that game came out last year. I mean, there's so many damn problems with Fallout 76 that if you did a live stream about Fallout 76, it'd be outdated right after you did it. Let's see. Beryl Larson on Jimmy Kimmel. Oh, God, that's funny. What's up with the Fandom Menace having such a hatred for Beryl Larson?
Because she played a woman who was a feminist icon.
Do these people not even realize that Captain Marvel is a huge promoter of the fucking military, the movie? That her movie promotes the Air Force? And since all these people are big supporters of the military, shouldn't they love Captain Marvel?
No, because it has a woman.
Star Wars Only's documentary. I forgot Star Wars Only existed. I don't even pay attention to that clown.
He did a live stream with the Grey Council.
You gotta be kidding me!
Like, he does live streams with the most irrelevant people ever. Remember when he did a stream with Black Angus?
Oh my God. Has the meme Star Wars Only? I don't know what the fuck your problem is. Has that meme run its course yet?
Yeah, I think Star Wars Only run it to the ground.
Of course he has. Star Wars Only. Okay, I'm gonna give some credit. I'm gonna give some credit. At least Star Wars Explain actually does stuff for the Star Wars community. I mean, let's be real. At least Star Wars Only does stuff for the Star Wars community. Like he helps edit Wikipedia, which is one of the hardest things you could possibly do, because of how you have to keep up with canon and it has to be updated weekly.
Yeah.
Didn't Star Wars only like do a video about Star Wars Explained because he made a minor mistake?
Yeah, he said Star Wars Explained doesn't understand Star Wars
He
because
understood.
he made a video discussing or saying that Kathleen Kennedy was okay, or saying that firing her won't do anything.
Star Wars. He's right. Hey, wait, he doesn't know Star Wars because he made an opinion that's actually backed with facts. He doesn't know anything about Star Wars. I mean, I'm sorry, but who's the one who helps edit one of the biggest wikis on the internet? Oh, he doesn't know anything about Star Wars, despite being one of the administrators for one of the biggest wikis, in the history of the internet. Oh yeah, he doesn't know anything about Star Wars. I don't even care if Star Wars only has 10 times the amount of subscribers I do. His content is garbage.
I mean, and his titles don't make any sense.
Not to mention, he can't make up his fucking mind if he hates or loves Disney.
Well, I'm just glad that I only saw The Force Awakens 2 times and I boycotted the rest of the movies.
Well, to be fair, I do see Disney making some improvements with Disney Star Wars. I mean, Mandalorian and I think Fallen Order is a good start of maybe making great Star Wars content again.
Yeah. Well, also, something that should be stated is that the counterfeit sequel trilogy has run its course, and the prequel trilogy haters have finally paid the price for what they've done to everyone. And so the thing is, because that price has been paid, now things are going to start to get better. At least that's what I'm thinking.
Well, here's my take on it regarding the, Disney, whatever. The sequel trilogy, I think a lesson we could all learn from this is you shouldn't try to please a fucking fan base to the extent that they did with The Force Awakens and The Rise of Skywalker. I mean, as honestly, the way that they were trying to please the Last Jedi haters was cringe. I would have rather they stuck with what Rian Johnson did with The Last Jedi with Rise of Skywalker.
I see. Also, well, they're saying how there's this old video of yours in which you said that J.J. Abrams was an ASS kisser.
An ass kisser. Yeah, he is an ass kisser. It's like, my God, it's ridiculous. What the last? Yes, The Last Jedi. I don't like the movie. But I believe that if you're, doing something, you should stick with it. And people say, oh, but Rian Johnson left, J.J. Abrams nothing to work with. He had plenty to work with. Kylo Ren as the main villain for Episode 9 could have been something different. For once, we could have had a Skywalker that doesn't freaking get redeemed. That would have been something different because Kylo Ren's arc is just a dumbed down version of Vader's arc.
In the trailers when Kylo Ren fixed his mask.
Ah, yes, the duck-billed mask.
I mean, I felt like that was just J.J. Abrams saying, "Hey, I'm fixing the mistakes Rian Johnson made."
It's like,
oh, JJ.
JJ is a fucking hack. I'm sorry. You could say I have a hate boner for J.J. Abrams. I would be proud to say that I do have a hate boner for him.
Also, what's more is that J.J. Abrams is friends with Simon Pegg. Ugh.
Well,
oh, fucking hell!
I hate J.J. Abrams because the guy can't create anything.
King of the rehash. King of the rehash.
Yeah, he's not capable of doing anything but rehashes.
Thank you for the rehashes, Your Majesty.
And to give Rian Johnson some credit, at least he has original work under his belt, unlike J.J. Abrams, who has nothing but sequels and reboots.
Oh, you know that channel Jar Jar Abrams?
Oh
Yes.
yes.
Yeah, he uploaded a video called JJ Abrams is a yes man. You should watch it.
Cool. Was
I'm
this a
not-
couple days ago?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I gotta watch that video then.
Dear,
It's just J.J.
good point.
Abrams is just. Even though this is not popular, what I'm about to say, I'd rather have Ryan Johnson have his own trilogy than have J.J. Abrams do one more Star Wars movie.
Yeah, because with
Ooh.
Ryan Johnson, it's like he's unpredictable, even though he's a nasty guy. But J.J. Abrams, he's just so safe and predictable. It's boring.
It's like J.J. Abrams' movies are just so they're for the lowest common denominator. J.J. Abrams movies, from Star Trek to his Star Wars films, it's like I don't want J.J. ever doing a Star Wars movie again.
I don't think he will.
I'm not saying that to appease people that follow me that like The Last Jedi. I'm just speaking from my heart. That's just how I feel about the situation. I've had time to think about it for the past few years. You know, as much as I hate the Last Jedi, watching when I Rise of Skywalker, you know, has just made me realize just how creatively bankrupt the sequel trilogy is. You could have gone in so many different directions with Rise of Skywalker instead of, hey, let's redeem Kylo Ren just like Vader. It's like, oh yes, let's Darth Vader, who's one of the greatest villains of all time, someone you would not expect to get redeemed. It's like Kylo Ren he just comes off as a spoiled little shit that I can't buy him being a conflicted person.
Also, once more, in one of your previous videos, you said that he was about 3 years old and that he hasn't hit puberty yet, or rather his BALS haven't dropped, I think.
Yeah. Well, I think the problem with The Last Jedi is I don't think J.J. Abrams should have like did such drastic things with the existing characters. I think he should have done it with the new characters. Like, wouldn't it have been more interesting if Rey, you know, turned to the dark side and Kylo Ren turned to the light? So it would be a complete reversal of what
It would be,
Yeah.
would be expected out of a Star Wars story.
Yeah, that would be interesting to see. However, I'm not concerned with the counterfeit sequel trilogy, but also my other name for it is the soul sucking trilogy. The thing that I'm concerned with is the EU.
You know what? I think it's a blessing in disguise that the EU was made non-canon.
Yes, I get what
I
you're
agree.
talking about. Preservation.
I think it's the only part of the Star Wars franchise that has not been tainted in some way by, you know, hacks in the story group.
Oh yeah.
I think speaking of the story group, one thing that really does need to change in the next Star Wars trilogy, the story group and the filmmakers have to work together, because as it stands right now, the continuity of the post Return of the Jedi of EU and canon is a mess.
Indeed. And so also there's even the prediction that Matt Wilkins made about how this new canon is going to be rebooted in a few years.
Let's not bring up Matt Wilkins. Please, let's not bring him up.
Okay. Sure thing.
It's one of the most disappointing things that's ever happened this year.
My lord.
Well, okay, I'll give Ryan Johnson credit, AK Master, for one thing. Ryan Johnson, you know, he is far more competent as a filmmaker than J.J. Abrams. I mean, look at the action scenes in The Last Jedi. Compare them to Force Awakens and Rise of Skywalker. It felt like Ryan Johnson understood Star Wars. Oh my god, this is going to get me a lot of hate. I felt like Ryan Johnson understood Star Wars more than J.J. Abrams. because it felt like Ryan Johnson, he didn't did as much lore breaking shit as J.J. Abrams did. And not to mention, let's be honest here. People like to say J.J. Abrams was screwed over by Ryan Johnson. What did J.J. Abrams really left Ryan Johnson with? His stupid mystery box bullshit. Anything could have happened in The Last Jedi. And at least freaking Ryan Johnson was willing to take a chance, to tell a different kind of story. Well, Ryan Johnson just wanted to do more of the same. What's really frustrating me is there are things I liked about Rise of Skywalker. I think if the movie was more competently directed, I think the ending scene for Rise of Skywalker could have been an emotional scene for, the Skywalker saga. But it's just, I just feel hollow and empty watching it. Like, if you compare Return of the Jedi's ending to Rise of Skywalker, Return of the Jedi feels like there's that it's a sense of closure. You feel like it's an ending to a chapter. Rise of Skywalker doesn't feel that way. It leaves you more questions than answers.
Yes. Also, hey, Dark Synovia, there's something that's like that I know. It's like this interpretation of mine regarding Rey building her own lightsaber out of the parts of Luke's and Leia's lightsabers. For me, my interpretation of that was how Kathleen Kennedy, or rather Disney, were taking they were doing some cherry picking with old stuff from Star Wars and using it to make the new Disney canon, while they were abandoning all the old stuff. In other words, it was an insult to Star Wars and to the fans.
I wouldn't go that far, to be honest with you. I wouldn't really go that far. I'm sorry. I have to respectfully. I would not go that far when it comes to Rise of Skywalker's ending. As much as my feelings on the movie are mixed. I think the issue I have with Rise of Skywalker is J.J. Abrams' insistence on pandering to everyone. When I feel like he should have finished what Ryan Johnson, started with The Last Jedi. Of course, if you ask me, then we should have gotten a different director than J.J. Abrams in the first place.
Colin Trevorrow.
I think he would have been better for Rise of Skywalker, but Colin Trevorrow wanted Luke Skywalker alive.
Indeed.
Man, it's hard to believe this decade's almost over.
Oh, what would you say is this year as like a ranking, or how this year was?
2019.
Yeah,
I view 2019 as the calm before the storm.
Wait, huh?
The calm before the storm.
Well, the storm's gonna come in 2020 or what? Huh?
You know what I'm if you know what I'm talking about regarding that certain orange-faced idiot, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yes, it's like I think I know who you're talking about. You're talking about the Deviant, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like that pervert. Oh, good golly, I know who you're talking about. Good lord. People follow that moron. Oh, good golly. Good lord.
Well, let's be people followed Hitler despite him not be able to speak proper German, so it's not surprising that history would repeat itself.
The thing about Hitler is that even though he was pure evil, the thing was that at least people could take him seriously. We can't take this other guy seriously.
Actually, that's not true. People didn't take the Nazis seriously in the 1920s.
Underestimated, huh?
People thought the Nazis were completely incompetent. The people did not take the Nazis seriously. or Hitler seriously. They thought they were a bunch of buffoons.
Let me guess. They viewed them like some type of monkey trying for 12 hours to open a coconut, and like the monkey throws the coconut against the tree, and then like the coconut rebounds and hits the monkey and knocks him out for a few hours.
Well, there's a 3-volume trilogy that basically gets that's accessible to those who are not very versed in that period of history, that details the rise and fall of the Third Reich. It's 3 volumes.
Rise and Fall of the Third Reich. Okay.
It's an eye opener. Honestly, I'm just telling you that the Nazis were not taken seriously at first, but
so therefore, it's like these books detail everything from the early 1920s to 1945.
no, the first book goes from from the 19th century up until 1933.
Okay.
And the second book goes from 1934 to 1939, and the final book is World War II.
I see. But why did they start so early? Like, what, 19th century? Why? Like, what, the birth of Hitler?
No, because talking about the origins and how the Reich came into existence in the first place. That there was conditions in other parts of the world like Germany. Oh God, how can I forget the country's name?
It sounded like you were saying Jeremy.
Oh God, my brain's about to explode. It's just various different countries in Europe on why they were sympathetic towards Nazism. It's like this talked about why the conditions were there and why the leftist parties and centrists were defeated. And how the Nazis managed to take over. It's very scary stuff, considering it's kind of happening now.
My lord. And so therefore, as you're saying, sorry.
I'm just talking about some stuff in history, actually, not really politics. Anyway.
Welcome back, Bear Crepe.
Hold on. I want to actually, and get back to what we were talking about before. Anyway, when it comes to history, I think if anyone wants to understand what's currently going on today around the world, it's best that you read The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich. If you want more of an understanding why there's a global rise in fascism.
So yeah, but also you would say that the Lecher, like who is running our nation now, is the heir apparent, you could say, to Adolf Hitler in a way.
There's a lot of similarities between Trump, Mussolini, and Hitler.
I'll take that as a yes.
With their rhetoric. If you again, go type, Right Wing Watch and watch their newest video, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. It's a documentary.
Right Wing Watch, gotcha.
So that's what of course, they go by a different name now, but you'll find their channel easily. But it's a very disturbing video to watch, but if you want to understand exactly what I'm talking about more in detail, that's a video to watch. Anyway, I think I don't want to bore people with these history lessons any further, so let's move on to something else. Do I think there's going to be a Star Wars Episode 10? And what I think of the rumors, I don't know. I don't think they're going to do an Episode 10. Mike. Well, one thing I will admit, though, I think people are... What do you guys think of fan fiction? I just want to ask. I just want to ask anyone here. Okay, I guess no one wants to talk about fan fiction. Let's see. Has anyone seen the Witcher series that's on Netflix? Oh, it looks like Beta Crate left. As for the Picard show, I won't be watching it for a while because I'm not gonna get all CBS All Access.
Also, Dark Sonovia, if you want a new show to watch, there's this new show that's premiering in a couple days called Dracula, and it's on Netflix.
I don't
Well,
have Netflix, unfortunately.
curses. But eventually, like when you get Netflix, go for that show. But also go for the show Castlevania. The 3rd season is up now, and the show is great. And also, it's anime too.
Well, the reason I don't have Netflix because I just don't use it enough.
Okay.
I haven't watched Anomaly Inc. ever, for a while, ever since he kind of associated himself with the fandom menace. To be honest, AK Master, I've seen some of his videos. It's just I just don't like watching people that associate themselves with the menace because they bring that toxic atmosphere with them. I haven't seen The Witcher. I'm just asking what people think about it. One thing I could see people bitching about though in a few years is the Wheel of Time TV series. I could see people what?
Has the series started yet, or what?
The series isn't going to come out until 2021.
Oh my, I see.
Filming, I don't think has started yet, but though the casting has been revealed for the characters that appear in the first book, and I could see a lot of people complaining about the casting, especially for Egwene and Nynaeve, because you know how anti SJW their logic. Oh, they're making Wheel of Time woke. I'm sorry, Beta Crate, I can't hear you. They're making a Wheel of Time woke, despite the fact that Robert Jordan himself, the entire world of the Wheel of Time is supposed to be a universe that has, multiple different kinds of cultures. And the casting for Egwene and Nynaeve, they're not. They're gonna consider it race changing, considering fan art for art for years. Whether it's fan art or official art, in some of the source books depict Nynaeve and Egwene as white looking women, but they're actually black women depicting those characters in the show, from what I've seen. I understand their reasoning for it because we live in a different world than we lived in the when Robert Jordan wrote those novels. So having a main cast of mostly white men is not going to work in today's world. I don't know. I don't care. I just want to see how this show turns out. I just hope they don't freaking half-ass the budget for the Wheel of Time. I hope they learn from the mistakes they made with Game of Thrones. To answer your question, Mass Panther, about Revan being canon, nothing but the name is canon. The character itself isn't canon. And I think it's absurd that people are making a big deal about Revan being canon despite it's only the name. I think it's stupid being excited over a character being canon when all it takes for a character to be canon now is to have them be named. Scream 5. I'm not a fan of the Scream series, to be honest. As for Batwoman, none of the CW shows don't really interest me that much, if I had to be honest. I mean, I don't understand why the CW universe still exists. I mean, I enjoyed the first season of The Flash, but is the later seasons? I've heard the show progressively gets worse. Man. I could say more stuff, but I don't think people want to hear about politics in this stream. So I don't think I have much more to talk about. Hopefully we could avoid another disaster in 2020. I can't comment on Ghost Rider. If I have to be honest with you, that Star Wars guy. I didn't even know there was a. I'm not a big fan of those franchises that you're talking about. That Big Fang Theory, bro. 333 returns. Are you still there, Avalon?
Oh yes, yes.
Okay, just making sure. All right. I really hope 2020 isn't a fucking disaster for us. I mean, the British are kind of fucked because of Boris Johnson, who what I've been hearing is even worse than Donald Trump is. Sorry, guys. I'm just gonna bring this up because for 2020, I'm a little concerned, at least about what's going on in 2020, considering that pig, you know, I don't want him winning again. Honestly, I really don't.
Yeah.
Even though I don't think it's gonna matter who fucking wins the presidency. Honestly,
I get what you're talking about regarding the Letcher.
I just think he's a pig, and not just in a way, not as a like a woman would say. I just think he's a pig. I think he's disgusting. He's a disgusting human being, and
True.
I cannot stand the people that follow him. Sorry if I'm gonna drive people away in this last segment, but I don't care. I mean, Donald Trump, the way he treated freaking a disabled guy, like during the election, was disgusting. I don't understand how people could support someone that mocks a disabled reporter. That fucking sickens me as someone that's disabled himself. And the disdain that Trump seems to have for the poor, like the guy, like he fosters this atmosphere of racism and classism, and it disgusts me how anyone can support such a man. I mean, Trump is freaking Ronald Reagan and Margaret Thatcher on fucking steroids.
Also, something else about Donald Trump is that 25 women came out and accused him of sexual harassment. 25 women.
I actually believe that Trump did do these things. I mean, but then again, Trump isn't the only person. I mean, Bill Clinton did this shit too, and that's one thing I'm really getting sick and tired of. Those the liberals and the people on the right, saying, when it's their side that does it, they fucking they claim it's a lie, but when it's someone on the opposite side, it isn't. It's like, be honest, Bill Clinton was a piece of shit that did horrible things to women. Same thing with Hillary. They've ruined the lives of many women and put feminism back by 50 years. Hillary Clinton is an awful human being as well as Donald Trump. I fucking despise her. And I cannot stand the fact that people assume that because I hate Trump, I automatically supported Hillary. I hated Hillary more than Trump.
Therefore, Hillary Clinton is a traitor to her own gender.
I don't like using that word, to be honest with you, Avalon, because I'm a gender abolitionist. Honestly, I don't believe in the concept. I think
what? Sorry, can you continue?
I think it's harmful, and I think I'm against it. I mean, I used to be like, okay, there's only two genders. I don't care about that. Honestly, I think it's harmful to people. If people want to identify as whatever gender they want, let them. That what they're doing isn't harming anyone. But the problem I have though with Donald Trump and the atmosphere that he, festers is he also, ables, racists to be racist out in the open. He also, fosters, hate crimes. I mean, I don't understand how anyone could still support the president, especially after Charlottesville, when he called neo-Nazis fine people. That just disgusted me.
Yeah.
It's like, this isn't just this issue of, oh, if you don't like Donald Trump, you're an SJW. No, I don't like. I hate Donald Trump because he's a terrible human. I don't even want to consider him human. He's not even human to me. He's freaking much lower than that. He's subhuman because he caters to the lowest common denominator. It's like, it's one of the reasons why I fucking can't stand the Phantom Menace, because they push this Trump bullshit on everyone, regardless if they don't want it in their videos or not. It's like, I'm sorry if I'm talking about politics now, but I can't turn it off because it affects me. Because the Trump administration, I feel like if they win another election, things will get even worse than they were, in 2017 through now. It's like, it's very important that we take these seriously. I'm not gonna tell you who to vote for, because in my opinion, I don't think it matters who fucking wins in 2020, because I think we're fucked no matter what anyway.
Continue.
I believe in revolution, not reform, but I'm realistic and know that in America, your average American citizen isn't going to pick up a gun to overthrow the government, because that's just ridiculous. It's absurd. And if I were to say that, they would laugh at my face and be right to do it, because it's just stupid. And yeah, as for Donald Trump, his chances of winning in 2020, I don't know. It depends on what the political establishment wants.
There's that line from the Expanded Universe that could be applied to this regarding like the political leaders of Democrats and Republicans. Like it was said in Star Wars Legacy of the Force Betrayal, like where this one admiral says, it doesn't feel like a victory or even like a loss. It just feels like we're dancing to someone else's tune.
That's exactly the truth. It matters. Republicans and Democrats, both of them are fucking full of shit. And I think we need to stop, treating this like it's some sort of sports game between two, teams, because the Democrats and Republicans are both on the same side. They're not. There's minor differences between the two parties. Anyone that actually still honestly believes that Democrats and Republicans, don't, work together to fuck over the working class are fools.
True, Dark Snovia.
Yeah, and I think I'm done with this political segment. I had to get that off my chest because, we're at the end of the year stream. I haven't seen the fan film between Michael Myers and Jason Voorhees. I have, so I can't comment on it. I haven't seen Major Lee's cringy Disney Star Wars videos. One YouTube channel I fucking despise is Watch Mojo. I agree with you. Man. The American government's full of shit. I agree with you, Max Panther. Well, one thing that's never going to change on my channel, I'm always going to say it how it is. I'm never going to tell you what you want to hear, because that's not what I do. I prefer to tell people what they need to hear, or what I feel like they need to hear. I'm not a fake. Am I the only one that noticed that there's so many fake ass motherfuckers on YouTube? I mean, seriously, so many fake ass people. Like, this is one of the reasons why I can't stand the Phantom Menace. They're so fucking fake. Every single one of these people are fake as hell. I just cannot stand them. Like, they act like they're the biggest fans of something, even though they don't know fucking shit about it. They're fucking normies. They're fake ass people. Okay, I think I've trashed the Fandom Menace enough in this stream. It's just I just trying to say something just for the sake of saying it. Whatever happened to Matt Wilkins? I don't know, dude. I don't know what happened to Matt Wilkins. I just think that he revealed his true self. Same thing with the rest of the EU guard. He was
Discouraging.
yeah. Unfortunately, my brother told me that he thought something was off about Matt Wilkins to begin with. That he didn't want to say. He didn't want to say it to me, but he thought something was off.
Also, now that you mention that, you see, I've watched a few of Matt Wilkins' videos, like was it earlier this year, and the thing is how it's like in my mind, it's like the way he looked, it's like from my point of view, he looked like a scuzzball. Like he just looked that way to me a little bit, you know.
Oh, here's a good. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. This year has been pretty good for video games, unlike previous years. I will admit. I think the Switch has been doing pretty damn awesome this year. They've been delivering awesome games. I think my game in the year would be Fire Emblem Three Houses. That's definitely my game of the year. At least for me, it is. I don't think anyone even has played Fire Emblem in this stream, but it's definitely my favorite game of the year. Oh god, another Saw film. Oh my god. it's there's too many of them. There's too many. There should have never been another one after the first one. It's so stupid. Oh god, so stupid. It's so stupid. Can we all agree though? Fuck Konami and fuck Bethesda, because both companies are fucking shit. Well, in 2020, Sonic will come out not too long. I wonder if there's gonna be a fucking following of people demanding the creature cut of the Sonic movie.
Yes, it's like you're talking about how like the original version of this Sonic was how like it differed greatly from the original version, and the thing is that General CJG said it was from HELL, and the thing was is that I said that this thing is the thing that created HELL.
It was a creature. It would look like an abomination. And then to answer your question, that Star Wars guy, why would I not want EA to make another Mass Effect game? I just hate freaking EA. I don't want them to make another Mass Effect game. In fact, I don't want them to make any games in general. I wish EA was out of business because they're a greedy company. And
Also, I continue.
And they have no respect for the art of gaming. And of course, I gotta answer this one person's question. I agree. Dawn of the Jedi Into the Void sucks. It's awful. So I agree on that. As for you, Black Panther, I'm sorry. I mean, Max Panther, I'm sorry, but I do not. Disney would never buy Sonic because the Sega owns Sonic, a Japanese company. They're not going to sell Sonic to Disney. Thoughts on Miller complaining about useless shit? Well, that's the Fandom Menace in a nutshell. They bitch about everything and anything. I mean, what are they going to complain about next? I wonder if my thumbnail for the stream triggered people. I don't know if you guys knew this, but Baby Yoda was wearing a KGB hat, and he was holding an AK-47. I just use it as a thumbnail just for the lulz. I never listened to Weird Al's Yugovish's Star Wars song, "The Saga Begins." Let's see. Oh, Konami, they barely make games these days, and when they do, if they do make games, it's on some stupid fucking what the hell you call those gambling machines. I had to do it, Max. There, I had to have a communist Baby Yoda because it was hilarious. Because I thought the idea is so ridiculous and it's funny. Jackass 4. Wait, there's a Jackass 4? I didn't even know there was a Jackass 2 or 3. What the fuck? God, I have no faith in humanity. Meteor 2020, for fuck's sake. Kill us all, Meteor. Please, just kill us all. How can people still watch that shit?
I've never watched any of the JACKASS movies, and also, this one friend of my family once said that if Holy Water would be placed on one of the JACKASS movies, fire will erupt from it.
Avatar: The Last Airbender, I thought was an amazing show. I thought Legend of Korra was a good show too, though not as good as Avatar: The Last Airbender. I haven't encountered any toxic fans from that fan base, actually. Maybe there are some, probably, which most of them are fucking shippers, which are obviously always probably the most toxic portion of any fandom. I don't understand how people can ship fucking Kylo Ren and Rey. It's just, ugh.
There is no Reylo. There is only Heya, Anime, and Lara.
Oh, Power Rangers fandom. The Power Rangers fandom can be kind of a clusterfuck at times because majority of the fan base, it's at least from my experience, there's Mighty Morphin fanboys who only think Mighty Morphin's good. And then you have people that don't like Mighty Morphin. I don't know. I can't really comment on the fandom. I haven't really encountered that many toxic people. Fuck the Rabbids. They've ruined the 25th anniversary TMNT game with their fucking presence. I don't know why people like Fast and the Furious. I agree with you, Max Panther. Those movies are trash. I don't understand how people watches it. Twilight fandom better than Raylos. I would probably agree. I don't know. I can't answer that question. That Star Wars guy. Maybe you should phrase it better. 90-year-old Harrison Ford is Andy. So Disney. It's so believable, Disney. I agree. I think that they should not make another Indiana Jones movie. I really don't think so. If they wanted to make an Indiana Jones 5, they should have done it years ago. I actually consider, the Star Wars sequels is the Twilight of Star Wars. Changed my mind. I mean, I don't understand how anyone could freaking. Oh, hold on. I'm at Anakin Master. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rank Likara as a Sour Rangers fan in Star Trek? I can't comment on his Star Trek videos because I don't know what his Star Trek credentials, and he probably has his credentials on Star Trek is much higher than mine. Same thing with Power Rangers. Minions 2? I hate those fucking things. They should fucking die in a fire. I hate those. Fuck the minions. They should die in a fire. I mean, my God. Why do they have their own movie? Why do they have their own movie? Why? Why?
Oh yeah. Also, Masked Panther. Yes, Twilight is better than the sequel trilogy. Yes. Also, I kind of like Twilight.
Did you read the books or did you watch the movies?
I watched the movies and I read 3 out of 4 of the books.
Oh God. I'd have to be a masochist to read the books. I don't know if I want to read them.
The issue with the books is that they just go too much into details, way too much. And there's also a thing about like how Bella sees herself as like as this horrible person, like just because she doesn't want Edward to go fight against the bad vampires. Like really, it's like she has to let him go to do his job. Darn it!
I wouldn't. Yeah, but you don't know what a lot of detail is. If you've read The Wheel of Time, there's so much detail in those books. It's insane. Same thing with A Song of Ice and Fire.
Well, I would say that it would be a good going deep into the details, not the bad going deep into the details.
Well, am I the only one that thinks that J.K. Rowling should shut the fuck up and stop fucking saying stuff on Twitter? I mean, she ruins Harry Potter every time she talks.
Also, hey, Dark Sylvia, the funky thing is that like with Star Wars and with Harry Potter, the 8th installment did a lot of damage. It's like there's Harry Potter and the Cursed Child and the Last Jedi.
Harry Potter and the Cursed fanfic isn't canon. I'm sorry. I don't fucking care what anyone says. The Cursed Child never happened.
Indeed, it did not. And also, it's more as like just like the Last Jedi. It's like that's not canon either.
Well, I don't really care. I actually hate the Cursed Child more than the Last Jedi. Actually,
Really? Really? But the Last Jedi sucked your soul out.
okay, you gotta understand. I hate the idea of the Harry Potter story being continued in the form of a play and not a book. And not to mention, it wasn't even really written by J.K. Rowling.
Yeah, it's like I understand you on those 2 points. Yes, I agree. It's like it should have been in another book form, not a play form. And also, J.K. Rowling should have done it herself, not those 2 guys who wrote it.
And not to mention, the Fantastic Beasts movie should have been books. Oh, Dune. I'm looking forward to Dune, and actually, Dune 2020 is going to be amazing.
Hey, Dark Sylvia, like are there trailers out for Dune right now?
Nope.
Okay.
It's probably we're probably not going to see a trailer until a few months from now.
Let me see. Like, what's the company that's making this Dune movie?
I'll have to look it up. I do know what I've heard from the YouTube channel Ideas of Ice and Fire, that the guy who's directing the movie, is a huge fan of Dune. So I think we should be fine of getting a good movie out of it.
I see.
To be honest with you, AK Master, I can't tell the difference between one prequel hater or another. They're all the same. Oh, fuck, Vader Cry. I forgot about my episode 2 and 3 reviews.
But Dark Sylvia, you said like that we did the prequel trilogy justice with the prequel defense podcast, and so therefore you would not do the episodes 2 and 3 reviews.
Well, I might do them and to give my own my reviews. It's just so people don't have to watch a 3-hour stream. But it'd be more like my own thoughts.
Yeah, it's like also while we're on the subject, it's like I have an idea. It's like not too long ago I mentioned to you the idea of doing of me doing a one-person analysis video of Dark Empire. I'm thinking it's going to be like 2 hours long, and I'm thinking I could do the same thing for the Star Wars prequel trilogy and original trilogy. Go deep into the details, like and give each of the films justice to show how great they truly are.
Yeah, I think you should.
The thing is that it's like you once said that I had a unique viewpoint, Dark Sylvia. It's like, and the truth is, I do. It's like there are things about these movies that people miss that I myself see, and so therefore, because I see what they do not, therefore, I would be the perfect person to give awesome analyses for the 6 movies.
Yeah. Though we have to accept facts that there isn't just 6 Star Wars movies anymore. There's more than that at this point.
Well, in the context of my own videos and stuff, it's like I'm just going to acknowledge 6. Like I only acknowledge 6 films. That's it.
I understand that. Look, look. I already told you how I feel about Dawn of the Jedi. It's terrible. I don't think I want to talk about that again. I have no intention of ever going to Galaxy's Edge, and I live like I live in like close enough to go to. I can take a bus and go to Galaxy's Edge. I'm just not gonna waste the money. I'd go there for free if someone offered it, but I'm not gonna pay for it. That's just not worth it to me.
As for myself, my family and I are not going to go to Disney ever again. It looks like it's like I myself am thinking like unless Disney like apologizes what they've done to Star Wars or does some type of big improvement, only then like would we go. But that would only be like for years from now. I'm thinking.
I would never go to Disneyland again because it's expensive for one, and two, I'm disgusted with how Disney treats their coworkers. No, not their coworkers, their workers in general.
The underlings, yes.
And I just don't want to support such a company.
Disney is too powerful. It's like I myself am doing my own writing. It's like if my books ever could become movies, I think I'm gonna go with New Line Cinema, not Disney.
Well, here's the thing when it comes to I'm not going to disclose my I've I live close enough to Anaheim. Yes, AK Master. It should be kind of obvious when I said that I could take a bus to Galaxy's Edge. I don't live in Florida, thankfully.
Also, something to be careful out in Florida are those gigantic pythons out in the wilds there. Ugh.
I never been to Florida, though I've been to I lived in Missouri for 3 years.
Cool.
It was boring as hell.
Oh my lord.
Oh, I've seen the first few episodes of the Heir to Empire animated, shorts. They're really good. That actually adapt, the chapters and animate them. It looks amazing.
Yes. Also, yes, that Star Wars guy. Yes, it's like I'll take your advice. I'll see the Heir to the Empire and Dark Empire fan film. Okay, yeah.
The MCU, the new Star Wars. You could think about it, the new Star Wars in a way. I guess you could think about that. You live in Florida, Max Anther. I didn't know that. Oh, did I see the edited video before getting cut in half by a lightsaber? I wish I would have saw it. It probably would have made me laugh. In a way, I'm glad I did this stream under my terms because I don't like doing my streams late. Oh. Bob's Burger? What the hell is that?
Bob's Burgers. Yes, it's like a show on Adult Swim.
Not interested. Black Widow looks okay, to be honest. I would have preferred if it was made during the, phase 3 and not after. Oh, also, yeah. Isn't Florida the state where George Bush's brother basically threw out freaking votes in the 2000 election?
Yes.
Oh God, that's another reason to hate this state.
Let me see. Okay, let me see. What was it? Okay, so let me see. That's Star Wars guy at Dark Side Avalon 1000. Top 3 Marvel films. I barely watched any of the Marvel films, really.
I could do it.
I mean, I can go for three, I suppose. Like, let me see. There's Thor: The Dark World, and maybe the first Thor movie, and maybe the first Avengers, and that's it for me.
Well, for me, here's who I think are the best Marvel films. Captain America: Winter Soldier, um, Avengers: Infinity War, and Avengers: Endgame. Those are my top three.
Yeah, like, what was your first one again?
Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
Ah, gotcha.
And what those have in common, they're directed by the Russo brothers. Which, in
Nice.
my opinion, I think their Marvel movies are the best ones.
Cool. And so therefore, Kevin Feige is the leader, and these directors like the Russo brothers, they're the hands-on people.
I guess you could say that, but the thing is, I feel like their Marvel films, I feel like, are the most memorable.
Cool.
Avengers: Age of Ultron. I don't. To me, that movie was garbage. If I have to be honest, it's one of the worst Marvel films.
Also, in one of your previous videos, you once said that Marvel was going to outlast Star Wars.
I don't know if I'm not gonna say that for sure if I'm correct. I was still angry about The Last Jedi at that point, so I don't know. I could be wrong. I could be right. It depends on what Marvel does in the next few years.
Indeed.
I'm not gonna lie. It's very difficult for me to watch Black Panther these days, knowing what I know now. It's really difficult to watch a movie that was approved by the CIA, which is something that most people don't talk about, which really pisses me off. Which that'd be getting too much into politics and why I think it's problematic that the CIA, promoting Black Panther and being portrayed as the good guys is problematic. On how if you want to understand the history of the CIA, just read Killing Hope.
The book Killing Hope. Okay.
It goes into great detail on American foreign policy and how the CIA also did in to Salvador and India and Chile and all of South America. You know exactly why. Why I find it difficult to watch Black Panther, considering it's endorsed by one of the biggest terrorist organizations in the world.
Also, you see, does this book mention the Iran-Contra affair regarding Nicaragua?
It meant actually I have to look it up, but I do have the book. It mentions everything from the end of World War II, I think, up until 9/11, I believe.
I see. There's
the live action Lion King remake. Oh God, I don't want to see that. It looks like an abomination.
It's more evidence that Disney has run out of ideas.
I rewatched the original recently. The original holds up. It really does.
Indeed.
I don't understand why they feel the need to remake it in live action.
Yeah, also, don't forget the sequel, Lion King 2, Simba's Pride. These two movies, they're based upon the two plays of William Shakespeare, like Hamlet and Romeo and Juliet.
I personally don't really like the second Lion King, to be honest.
You don't like it?
No, the only Disney sequels I actually approve of is the Aladdin movies.
I see. It's like yeah, there's the issue. The sequels are not as good as the originals. It's like I like the second Lion King movie. It's like, and also it's like there's what else is there? Kind of the second Pocahontas movie. Yeah, the Aladdin movies. That's good. Also, I kind of like the Little Mermaid 2: Return to the Sea. That's a good one. But I also like the prequel too, Ariel's Beginning.
Well, I just don't really like a lot of these direct-to-Disney sequels because I think they're all cash grabs. And that's my main problem with them. The Aladdin ones, I feel like, are the only exceptions. Then again, it's been over 20 years since I've seen the Aladdin sequels.
Ah,
Which is better, Nickelodeon or Comedy Central? I don't know. I haven't watched either one of them in 20 years.
hmm. As for myself, I'd say Nickelodeon. I've seen very little of Comedy Central.
I saw a few scenes from the Lion King remake, like that stupid scene with Scar when he says, "Long live the king." It was like so laughably bad that it's like, wait, the original scene was scary and kind of frightening at the same time. You know, having his own brother murder him, and the way it was shot, at least the way it was animated, was amazing. You could feel Simba, you know, horror when you saw, Mufasa fall to his death. It's like Scar felt like a more threatening villain in the original Lion King than the freaking, remake. I know, for those of you who are going to bring it up, I know Lion King is technically did kind of copied a lot of stuff from Kimba, a Japanese animated series, but I still acknowledge Lion King as a good movie. Shit. I didn't expect to do this for 2 hours.
Also, it's like, let me see. So there's thing about the remake. There's also the remake of Aladdin that came out this year as well. And the thing is how I haven't seen the remake, but I read this one magazine that was linked with the remake, and I discovered a few cool things regarding Aladdin. How the original story of Aladdin was a later addition to the story of the Arabian Nights, and also in the original story there were two sorcerers, not one, and also the two sorcerers were brothers. So therefore, if Disney wanted to stay true to the original story, therefore they would have given Jafar a brother.
I did not know that in the original version of the fairy tale that he had a brother.
And not just that, there was also another jinn or genie. You see, there was the weaker jinn or genie, and then there was the stronger one. And the goal of the one sorcerer was to get the stronger genie, who we know as Genie back from Aladdin. But there was also like a lesser genie that was used to get the greater one. And so therefore, Aladdin in the original story used the original genie, like to get the first genie back from the first sorcerer, and then later on the second sorcerer is discovered like after the second sorcerer was hiding. Yeah, you should really like get that one magazine. You really should.
Interesting. Max Panther, oh my god, that's hilarious. The idea of Yoda teaching Luke about communism is just too fucking funny. I just can't imagine that. Overthrow the bourgeoisie, you must, Luke.
Oh my lord.
Have nothing but your chains to lose, do you, Luke?
And let me guess. And then also this Yoda, he would have a poster in his hut of Joseph Stalin, Karl Marx, and Vladimir Lenin.
And Frederick Engels. We can't forget
Oh yeah,
Frederick Engels.
that's right. Frederick Engels. Gotcha. Yeah.
People, it's like, what the hell are you talking about? I'm sorry, I had to answer that comment that Alexander ate because it's so ridiculous. A communist Yoda. Oh my god, that's so fucking funny. A communist Yoda. Should they make Ted 3? I wasn't even aware there was a Ted 2. Oh my god. I can't comment on Tron. At least I never saw Tron Legacy. Though the first one is a classic. I think the stream has turned out pretty well, I must say so myself.
Indeed, it has.
What a way to end the year. And unlike, of course, I'm not going to do this for much longer because, I got stuff I got to do and I need to get something to eat. Who would win, Vladimir Lenin or John Lennon? I don't know who the other guy is.
Oh, he's a musician.
I don't know. Yeah, that's like apples and oranges. What do you think about people liking the 2008 Clone Wars? I don't care at this point, to be honest. I mean, if they like the CGI Clone Wars, that's cool. They have something they like from the prequel era. It's just not for me. I like the clone episodes that focus on the clone troopers. I think anything that Dave Filoni did that involves the clones is really good. But I think when it involves the characters that were created by other people, like John Ostrander's characters, like Asajj Ventress or Anakin Skywalker, I just don't like his take on those characters. But I like his original stuff that he does. This decade for me has been a roller coaster on Beta Crate. I would consider this probably the first decade I was truly an adult.
Well, this decade has been stinking in terms
Oh
of
wait, John.
creativity and
Oh
stuff,
wait. Oh, John Lennon. Oh, I know. Oh, I know who he is now. Sorry. I'm sorry. I forgot. And now I know who you're talking about. Sorry. Thank you. Okay, thank you for bringing that up, AK Master. It's just I haven't listened to the Beatles' music that much in a long time.
Also, it's like for this decade, it has not been doing good creatively and stuff. It's like a lot of franchises have been suffering bad hits. Terminator, Star Wars, yeah.
Well, for me, I think this decade, at least for myself personally, I went through my political evolution. Like, I don't think I would be who I am today if it weren't for the 2016 election.
Yes, your disappointment with Bernie Sanders.
Yes, and my outrage over what happened, and it made me wake up for what a fraud this system really was, and it made me take the final step out of liberalism. No offense, Avalon. I just had to say that. I was mostly a liberal through most of my life, and I became disillusioned.
I see. Well, also, it's like Dark Synovia, no offense taken. Also, as for myself, it's like I'm just an independent. I'm not a communist, and so it's like, well, I just don't believe in the two-party system. The two-party system is bogus, and I'm an independent. I would rather lose 1,000 times as an independent than win once as a slave to either the Democrats or Republicans.
Well, I've been more of an independent. I never liked either parties. It's just I've realized just how just how much of a lie it truly is. Like this, the more you learn, like the more things change in this country, the more they stay the same. It's like the Democrats and the Republicans both suck. They really both suck. And I learned that the hard way. And I'm ashamed to say this. I voted for Mitt Romney in 2012 because how much I hated, Barack Obama. But I didn't realize why I hated Barack Obama. I was an idiot. It wasn't until I researched more until I realized why where my hatred for him truly lies. And another thing about this decade for me that stands out is how creatively bankrupt Hollywood it has become in this decade.
True. The well has run dry.
It's like it's just one remake after the other. And not to mention, Disney slowly buying everything.
Yeah, it's like Pixar, Lucasfilm, Marvel, Hulu. Oh no.
Fox.
Yeah, Fox too. My lord. It's like, if you ask me, sooner or later there's going to be some type of issue within Disney in which they have to give the stuff up or something, or some type of redistribution. I'm not talking about like stuff with the legal stuff. I'm just talking about it'll just be too much for Disney to handle.
Hey, B-Level, I'm just letting you know, if you want to be part of the stream, there's a link on my Discord if you want to be part of it. If you're assuming you're not working, that is. I think independent is probably where people should actually start supporting independent filmmakers some more, but it's very difficult because the independent stuff is buried by the garbage. Honest, I'm not saying all movies are garbage. It's just a lot of the blockbusters bury independent films, and I think Disney makes it more and more difficult for independent filmmakers like George Lucas to get started.
Yeah, it's like there's also this one time you said in this one video about how with the current climate of Hollywood, Star Wars would not be made.
It wouldn't. It really wouldn't be made in the current climate. And no, I think Sony's pretty safe from Disney because Sony is a Japanese company.
Also, there was this thing about how in George Lucas's interview with Charlie Rose, George Lucas said that like in the Soviet Union, in the old Soviet Union, how as long as these movie makers don't criticize the government lets them do whatever they want with their movies. It's like they had more freedom than we had.
Oh yeah. Jason Unruhe actually did a video about that a few years ago. You don't know who he is, but I'm just talking about for those who watch, leftist media. Jason Unruhe talked about, this particular issue that you just talked about, Avalon.
Yeah, it's like I do not know who this guy is, Jason Voorhees. No.
Jason Unruhe, he's from Canada. He used to be known as the Maoist rebel.
Mao Zedong. Yeah. Well, also, it's like this one novelette that I'm writing. It takes place in communist China, deep within the the land. And the thing is, how there's this small group of archaeologists. They're going after this one pagoda, but they unearth a horrible creature. And the thing is, how it's like I'm not going to spoil anything else. It's like you'll hear about it later. I'm thinking it'll be cool.
You still there, Avalon?
Oh yes.
Sorry, it was getting really hot in my room, so I had to open the window.
Gotcha. Understood.
I didn't really hear much what you said.
Well, the thing is how there was mention. It's like you said that this one guy was like a Maoist rebel, and so then I went off to say how I'm writing this novelette that takes place in communist China, and you see it takes place deep within China, and how there is this one team of archaeologists that discovers this horrible creature under this old pagoda, and I'm just gonna leave it there. It's a cool horror story.
Well, another thing that I think a lot of issue people can't seem to comprehend is things are not as black and white when it comes to what Disney is doing, honestly, because Disney is going around buying these companies, and it's really scary how Disney has actually developed a cult of personality behind them. I'm not joking. They developed a cult of personality where you have people that freaking defend Disney no matter what. It's like, okay, I'm just saying, I'm using the term cult of personality because this is something that, people accuse communists of because of Lenin and Joseph Stalin and Mao Zedong on how, and Kim Jong-un and Kim Jong and the current person of North Korea, how we're accused of, supporting, a movement that encourages a cult of personality. Well, that's exactly what Disney is doing.
Hey, Dark Snovia, you got your names mixed up regarding the leaders of North Korea. You see, the thing is,
I'm not very good with pronouncing Korean names, so sorry.
It's okay. Well, but here's the thing: you said Kim Jong Un first, and then you said this other guy, but his son. But here's the thing: the original guy was Kim Jong Il. The son is Kim Jong Un.
I know. I'm sorry. Okay. Thank you for correcting me. But I'm just saying that there's a cult of personality based around Disney and that orange-faced idiot in the White House that it's really scary to me that how people could defend corporations buying smaller companies, despite how harmful it is potentially for art as a whole.
Yeah, it's like you said, like in another video of yours, how it's like how you asked people how could they be happy about Monopoly, and how the only thing that people saw was superhero movie crossovers and stuff like that, with Disney buying up Fox, the union of the Marvel movies. And the thing is, you said they didn't know what effect it could have on society or something like that.
Yes, I mean, it's very dangerous. Disney is so powerful that they have an influence in our government. And I know that this may be too political, people, but you got to consider here Disney has the power to influence, our laws in whatever way they wish because of how much wealth they have.
Lobbying.
Of course, they're no Jeff Bezos or Bill Gates, but what the amount of power they wield is insane. Disney has been fucking with copyright laws for decades. Because they don't want their flagship character to become public domain.
With all this in mind, J.R.R. Tolkien was right to not want to do anything to do with Walt Disney.
He was correct, but here's my take on it. If we want to win a major victory against Disney, it would be to defeat them when it comes to copyright laws. Because Disney needs to be stopped. If Mickey Mouse becomes public domain, that would symbolize, a loss of their power.
So therefore, yes, let's see, fight Disney on the copyright laws and make Mickey Mouse public domain. Gotcha.
Because if Disney is going to make it so nothing ever becomes public domain.
Oh my lord.
Disney doesn't have the power to buy all of North America. Jeff Bezos does.
Oh my lord. Also, it's like AK Master. Let's see, I have a feeling that Disney will buy all of North America. That's very scary, regardless of whether it happens or not. The mere thought of it is scary.
I don't think Disney has the power, but Jeff Bezos does, though.
Okay, then he's the one we should fear. Then okay.
But Jeff Bezos is probably one of the most dangerous people in America, considering just how much wealth he possesses.
My lord. Well, there was that one line by Lord Acton many years ago. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely.
I think that the issue I have with people is, public domain. Who wants to explain what public domain is?
Explaining it. Well, public domain is like what? How people, if they're writers, they could use stories that belong to ancient myths and stuff like that, and these fairy tales, and use them in their own works. It's and the thing is how it's not plagiarism because it's public domain. Even I think an example of this is how there's this one zombie movie. It's that I read about in the Complete Idiot's Guide to Zombies book, and how this movie, it's not owned by anyone. And so therefore, because it's not owned by anyone, I'm thinking that it's public domain.
Public domain means everyone owns it, not the original owners.
Essentially, yes.
And honestly, I believe ownership should end a certain amount, not 70 years after an author's death. I think it should end 10 or 20 years because I think it's insane.
So therefore, the characters that Walt Disney created should have been made public domain years ago.
Yes.
Yes, Walt Disney's death in the 1960s, yeah.
What's really sickening is Martin Luther King, his speeches, I didn't know this, they're not public domain. Despite being a piece of history, you're not legally allowed to use those without copyright. And it's we have to wait another 30 years before it's public domain. And I think it's what?
Who in the world owns Martin Luther King Jr.'s speeches? It's he died in the 60s.
His family. I can understand. Okay. I can understand the logic why they would want to have that, considering the black community owns almost nothing. but I actually think an important piece of history should belong to no one.
Gotcha. Also, AK Master, Night of the Living Dead, you're asking? It's like, no, it's a different zombie movie, but the name escapes me. Like, I think it's the movie White Zombie with Bela Lugosi in it. Also, as for Night of the Living Dead, a copyright issue with that is how there was George A. Romero and his team. They made the movie Night of the Living Dead. However, something happened like in the process of making it, like with the signing of the signature or something like that, in which how the company owns the movie and not George A. Romero, and so therefore he's been bitter over it for years, even when he was living in Canada. And unfortunately, he died back in, what was it, 2016 or 2015, I think.
Julius Savioff would be I think I'd be terrified if he was president because he's insane.
Yes, that
V-Level.
clone.
I didn't realize V-Level wanted to join. Hey, what's up,
Hey, V-Level.
comrade?
Hey, am I broadcasting?
Yes.
I thought I'd step in because public domain with Disney, this one got personal. They canceled my single fan edit. Yeah, man. You know what I was thinking, man? It's like if we look at public domain with like J.J. Abrams and Rian Johnson, how come they can make a Star Wars film and I can't? You know what I mean? Like, come on, like we should, like, to me it's fan fiction at this point for the episodes. I feel like Star Wars, the thing is, it should be a genre. It shouldn't be a franchise anymore.
I agree.
Anyway, that's my take on it. Filoni can have his Star Wars. Johnson can have his Star Wars. JJ can have a Star Wars. Everyone gets a Star Wars.
That sound like you were quoting Oprah. I think that's
so.
what it sounded like.
That's gonna be intent. But end of the decade, man, like it's interesting what's going to happen next decade, because I have a lot of friends that work in like the science and technologies fields, and there's a lot of cool stuff that can fix a lot of problems, but there are a lot of people that want to hold the world back too. So it's just the fate of humanity, the fate of the world hinges upon the next 10 years. So
that's a scary thought.
Yeah.
Scary, yes.
The 2030 deadline that they talk about the Green New Deal and stuff, I don't think it's too far off.
If George Carlin was alive today, the freaking anti-SJWs would hate him if he was still alive.
I watched Planet of the Apes the other day, and I could confirm that it was woke.
Oh my god.
Planet of the Apes. I was watching it with my dad, and my dad's like, all the leader apes are orange. That's like Trump, but this is 50 years ago. He's like, they prophesized the future.
Wait. Oh, was this the original Planet of the Apes you were watching?
Yeah, it was like the one from like the 70s.
The original
Planet, actually.
The original Planet of the Apes, in my opinion, is one of the greatest movies of all time.
Man, it was good. I watched that and Blade Runner 2049 in the same day, and then I just looked at the sequel trilogy, and I'm just like, man, dude, science fiction.
Did you watch the original Blade Runner?
It's like the pinnacle of science fiction. It's just so disappointing.
By the way, did you watch the original Blade Runner?
I did, yeah. I watched that too. That was like, those are some of the best movies I've ever seen.
The original Blade Runner, at least the final cut, it's like, my God, that was one of the greatest movies I've ever seen. I was thinking about it long after I saw it. I mean, It's like, holy shit! It's like this is what the world will look like under corporatism.
I was joking with Masked Panther in the chat there. It said, "What happens if Disney buys America?" Then I'm like, "Anarcho-capitalism, the movie." By the way, Blade Runner is basically an in-depth look at that, which is just awesome.
But me and Max Panther have known each other for years, so he knows he knows my political views.
Question, because when I was watching 2049, I was so amazed at the CGI with like the detail that they crafted futuristic.
I have not seen it, so you could ask. That's the question you should ask the audience.
Oh, okay. I was just gonna say, is anybody else disappointed with how how Star Wars in the prequels used to push the boundaries of CGI, but I feel like it does not do that anymore in the sequel trilogy. To me, it's like Marvel and DC that's pushing the boundaries of CGI in this decade.
I think because I blame Plankett and some of the mainstream news outlets online having this bad this thing against CGI, how CGI is bad, practical effects good, like when they don't understand that neither one is better than the other. They both have their uses.
Yeah, it's like to me, it's like if you look at like Phantom Menace, right? CGI was just starting to come into form. So if you look at Attack of the Clones, the CGI quality is way above Phantom, right? So CGI, it's not like people are too harshly judging how CGI looked in the late 90s compared to the mid 2000s. There was a huge jump. If you look at Revenge of the Sith, it's pretty much as good as CGI of movies coming out today. Like to me, it's almost the same. So like to me, they should have encouraged continuing to expand the boundaries of CGI, not just like go back to like practical. I mean, practical effects are cool, but like to just say a movie's good because it uses practical effects, I mean, I don't think that's really a good argument that those people make.
Well, I don't know. These people can't seem to realize that practical effects, it's not as practical to do them as they used to, because some things are actually cheaper to do with CGI than practical effects.
Yeah. Like some fan films of Star Wars, in the small context they're in, the lightsabers look as good as the films.
Yes, and I'm not saying that practical effects are terrible. I'm just saying that it's getting to the point where, it's actually easier to do CGI and cheaper. I mean, Thanos, I think that CGI is still going to look good even 10 years from now.
Yeah, same. I think CGI reaches a plateau as well, where it's just like really good, and the details that will continually to be expounded upon and improved upon are going to be like details we don't even pick up on consciously anymore.
You know what's really pisses me off though, when people that shit on the CGI of the prequels, one of the greatest trilogy that came out in the last decade, Lord of the Rings, would not even be possible if it weren't for the Star Wars prequels.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like yes, I know they use practical effects in the Two Towers and Return of the King, but imagine what those effects would have looked like if it was mostly practical effects.
Yeah, man, I could see it if they made. Imagine if they made Lord of the Rings in the 70s or 60s. That'd be interesting.
Oh God. What? But though, let's be honest here. Game of Thrones season 8 is probably one of the worst. The Battle of Winterfell is one of the worst freaking night battles in cinematic history because you can't see a damn thing. Okay, I know.
Man, isn't it so weird that the D&D dudes, they hopped off GOT to get on Star Wars, but they hopped off Star Wars to get on random Netflix shows? It's like, what? These dudes are as indecisive as their creative direction in their shows.
Well, these people don't understand fantasy. And thank God they didn't do Star Wars. We dodged a fucking bullet.
You remember that video we made, the Star Wars dystopia, but we never released it for reasons? That was like the low point for me in terms of creative expectation for Star Wars. If it wasn't for The Mandalorian, and I like Fallen Order too, but I actually feel kind of like hopeful for future Star Wars. Like if the Marvel dude does Old Republic, like I'm feeling more positive.
Did you? What do you think of my idea that out of spite they should do? Brie Larson as Revan.
Do it. Yeah, that would be awesome. Takes off the mask, revelations. Jeremy incinerates.
It would subvert our expectations.
Yeah, man, that'd be great. I think I definitely want Brie Larson in Star Wars for sure. It's got to happen. Or maybe she could be the exile too. I don't know. One of the characters,
No, make her Revan.
Revan, all power, because Revan's more powerful than the exile. So you got to.
Let's put. Okay, I'm pushing right now. I'm pushing it. Make Brie Larson Revan.
Let's do it. Let's do a poll on exile. Brie Larson, Keanu Reeves, or Mad Max.
No, make Keanu Reeves Malik.
Really?
Malik, like in terms of make Jeremy Malik and make Brie Larson Revan. That's a trilogy right there.
Oh God, no! I'd say Keanu Reeves because it would piss people off because
They
they
want.
wanted to have because they would be seeing their boy getting his ass handed to him by Brie Larson.
I like Keanu, man. He's a nice guy. He's a really nice guy.
Yeah, Keanu's cool.
Yeah. I think they should have I don't know. I don't know who should be Malik. But what about Brie Larson as Jor-El? Do you think that could work?
That would work.
That
though.
could work actually. Like her is Brie Larson part Eastern European? I'm just curious.
I don't know.
Okay, because I was Larson's that's like Swedish, right? And Jor-El's got kind of an elfish face, so but yeah, that could work. Anyway, speaking of the menace, man, I don't know how much you want to talk about these people, but it's like I can't believe that author dude has been teasing a debate for like 6 months, and now he's going through it. I'm like, okay, I was like, okay, it's the holidays. I'm sorting out my schedule for the next couple months. I told Mad Max, I'm like, yo, dude, I don't know what's happening. I'll do it on your channel. And Max is like, sure. He messages back, yeah, Walton's not interested. I'm like, dude, he called me the king of fake narratives.
I think he's self-projecting because his entire book is fake news.
Yeah, I did spam a comment similar to that on his latest video. Just I can't resist. Anyway, have a great stream. I just want to pop in for 10 minutes before New Year's Eve dinner.
Well, the stream is almost over for me. I'm
Oh,
almost
okay.
done. So you got here towards the end.
Right, because it seems like you guys. Oh wow, 3 hours, man. Nice, been solid.
All right.
Thanks everyone. Thanks to you guys for being an awesome part of my year, and looking forward to another one. So I'll let you guys finish off.
All
Don't
right.
Chippy level.
Later. All right. Well, we got B level. I got B level for the first time on my channel. That was something.
Yeah, also, it's like, I think you should know that my first ever live stream that I ever did was on B-Level's live stream, and yeah, it was with Iron Inquisitor as well.
That's cool. That's cool.
Mhm.
Okay. Some person. Okay. What do I think of the Mulan live action remake? Well, I think the Mulan live action remake it looks okay. I mean, it looks different. It's not the exact same movie. It's not a live action, remake that's, shot by shot remake like Lion King is. So I am more open to see it actually.
Also, it's like the girl who plays as Mulan in this remake is Liu Yifei, and the thing is that like she's a good actress, and also if you haven't seen any of her performances, well, then I recommend you check out her performance in the movie The Forbidden Kingdom with Jackie Chan and Jet Li.
Don't be surprised if there's propaganda against Mulan in next year.
Propaganda against Mulan?
Because the actress doesn't support the Hong Kong protesters.
Ah.
But I'm not going to really get into detail what I think of the Hong Kong protests. The only thing I'm going to say about it, it's very complex, and it's not a black and white issue. That's all I'm going to say about the Hong Kong protest. Because unfortunately, a lot of people in leftist circles, gave me shit for my opinions about it. So I'm not going to really give my stance on the Hong Kong protests other than it's very complicated. And I don't think you should comment on it unless you actually do more research on it. We know the Fandom Menace are going to probably capitalize on this that Disney supports the Hong Kong police.
Since we're talking about like the author thing, remember when you were arguing with that person called Jennery? So I remember when you had like a Twitter debate with him.
I don't even remember all these. I'm not barely on Twitter. I barely remember it.
Oh, well, I said to them, hey, Han, you making a book about like propaganda isn't a book. And then she said, "Oh, I'm sorry, sweetheart, that's not true or something." I don't know. But and she was here. So you called out the author Stefan for like making a book about this controversy because it's stupid. And then she started saying, "Hey, at least he gets to say he wrote 5 books." Yeah, but it's 5 books about propaganda against. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, well, okay. I basically, okay. For those of you who don't know, I basically said at least if I wrote a book, at least it wouldn't be, about a bunch of nonsense about being butthurt over a movie I didn't like. Let's be honest here. They're never gonna come out of all 5 of them. It's just hype.
How many people actually bought the book?
I don't care. What is Volume 2 gonna be written about? How we didn't sell out, but we actually kind of did with Rise of Skywalker.
Oh my lord!
Ooh, can't wait to read the Fantifa chapter.
Does he even realize that it was a joke that me and B-Level came up with because Mad Max brought it up?
Yeah.
That's Star Wars guy. He says, at Dark Side of Avalon 1000, do you prefer a Legacy of the Force series fan film to be animated or anime? It's like a Legacy of the Force series fan film to be anime. Oh, anime. Definitely try an anime. Do it.
I would probably prefer something more in live action, personally.
That works too. Anime is great.
But
also, continue.
But seriously, who the hell? I mean, seriously, 5 volumes on the Phantom Menace. I mean, 1 is enough.
It's just 5 books on a hate group.
Stephen Walton is a ghost author at best, and I said that, and and everyone got triggered when I said he's a ghost author at best. Now, if you want to write your own, book, okay, that's your prerogative. But don't freaking push this like it's this going to be this thing that people are going to be talking about 10 years from now, because 10 years from now, people are going to like, fandom what?
Yeah, it's like it seems like the Phantom Menace will fall apart next year or the year after that? What do you think?
They already are falling apart. They're tearing each other a new asshole. I mean, Mary Mayhem, what I've been hearing is swatting someone or try to swat someone on Twitter. It's like, what the hell's going on?
Well, I was asking, it's like, when will the falling apart be complete? I know it started, but when do you think it'll be complete? Next year, year after that?
I don't know, to be sure. I really don't know. Oh my god. I'm not gonna lie, watching that Phantom Menace destroy themselves is pretty entertaining. I'm gonna grab some popcorn.
Don't forget to put some salt on it.
Yeah.
It's like salt and butter is great with popcorn.
I can't comment on that. The Big Bang Theory, bro. I can't comment on that because I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, I know what he's talking about. It's like, yeah, Conjuring 3. It's similar to The Exorcist. Dr. Oxana, thoughts on the Conjuring 3 coming out next year? And yes, is also real. Well, you don't know what about it, so I'll just answer for you in this one. Well, I think it's a good idea to have it coming out, so therefore the Conjuring trilogy will be complete along with the Annabelle spin-off films, and so therefore it shall be pretty good, even though it's scary, but still good. Yeah.
The movie The Grudge. To be honest with you, I prefer the Japanese version.
Isn't that the original version?
Yes, which is The Grudge is a remake of a Japanese film.
I know.
It's all right. I mean, it's been a long time since I've seen it, but it's all right. What I remember.
Also, the remake, it has Sarah Michelle Gellar in it. Cool.
Well, I think this has been going on long enough. Because it's been 3 hours. I'm getting hungry, and I need to, stretch my legs. Well, everyone, it was nice doing this end of the year live stream. Thank you, B Level and Beta Crate and Avalon for being part of it. Anyway, people,
Don't mention Dark Sylvia.
Happy New Year, everyone, and see you in 2020.
See you.
See ya.
See ya. All right.